So our regular groups here already looks like.
200.
Oh, we're safe. I got a good rifle in the house, like a semi-automatic.
The judge is in there.
That's coming from up there now.
Hello, everyone. We're glad that y'all are here.
Good evening, everybody. We are very glad to see y'all. It looks like a lot of good people in the room tonight.
An episode of Standing Feather Stories. We have several verses. We have 3 verses to start with. Luke 8:17. For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open. Jude 1:13. Raging waves of the sea, foaming out of their own shame, wandering stars, to whom is reserved the blackness of darkness forever. And Genesis 6:4. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, The same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. And we'll pray. Father, we thank you for this platform. We thank you for your hand of covering upon it. This is your platform. We thank you for revealing knowledge to us and for helping us to relay that knowledge to other people. We thank you for the viewers. We thank you for the protection that you always provide. And we thank you for the discernment that you will give to those who listen. We thank you for keeping out anyone that does not love you and revealing anyone that tries to sneak in that intends any sort of harm. We love you. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. We have 3 Facebook pages, Oklahoma. Pardon?
We have 4.
Oh,
A new one.
I forgot about the new one. Go ahead.
We have 4 Facebook group pages. We do mirror these links and streams afterwards, so you can find them also on Facebook. Those group pages are Oklahoma Predator Watch, Antlers, and surrounding areas. Choctaw Missing and Murdered Woman, WOMBMAN, and Sun Center Database. Lead Tracker E, and the new one that we have is Predator, Bigfoot, and the Spiritual Warrior's Path, which comes after the book that we have just released. The documentary, $101. The documentary is a documentary that we made with the help of a lot of trackers and a lot of tracks that we had made. And we videotaped those tracks. We're trying to, or Elite Tracker was trying to make a monitor for us real fast, but I don't know if we can do it from here. But the Bigfoot documentary, $101 through PayPal or Cash App. It has the traps, the places that we don't want people to go to, but we want you to know about, and how these creatures tunnel. We'll show you their tunnels, their caves, where we found them, where you need to look, and what you need to look for. Ghost, we got your DVD now, but we couldn't get it the DVD format. There's a couple of glitches in this one, but the Blu-ray is perfect. We're going to send you both, so you'll have the entire thing. But with the the DVD, it does have a couple of glitches. But what we're going to do is we're going to send this to you, because the audio is still there. There's only a couple of pictures that you're not going to see, but but you're not missing anything. But we're going to have to. It's a lot of work to get it to the DVD format. It's almost like starting over. So what we're going to do is send this to you and work on it some more to get into that DVD format. But we do have it on Blu-ray for anyone else. If you have a Blu-ray player, a new Blu-ray player, it will work. Plays on computers and MP4s. But just wanted to let everyone know that we are trying to get that totally onto the DVD format, because a lot of people don't have Blu-ray. But we have plenty to go on Blu-ray if you have Blu-ray. Those are ready to go, already prepared. Also, the new book, Predator, Bigfoot, and the Spiritual Warrior's Path, that is now released. It is on Amazon.com. You can find that. Go to Kindle Books or eBooks. Look under books, and then type in Predator, Bigfoot, and the Spiritual Warrior's Path, and you will find that the new book. A very important book, and we're going to be talking a little bit about that also. But you need that book, you need the DVD. They go hand in hand. Without that knowledge, you're going to be like a lot of people who are out there right now who don't understand what's going on, who are guessing, who are giving opinions to other people. Some people who don't understand or has never seen a Bigfoot, they don't have the firsthand experience that you will find in the book and the DVD. It's a higher intelligence, it's a higher level of education for the Bigfoot topic, as people would say. But we know these as predators. We know where they come from, the origins, the DNA. It's all in the books and the DVDs. So you will be ahead of any researchers that is out there, any skeptic, any known documentarian or book writer. You will have more of an education higher above any person who does not have the new book, Predator Bigfoot and the Spiritual Warrior's Path, or that does not have the DVD. And some of our trackers have both. And we love that because they, our trackers have to know what's out there, what's going on. And I believe here in about 3 days, we're also going to be having a live book signing live stream. We're looking at 3 or 4 days from now to have that. So if you haven't received your book, or if you haven't ordered on Amazon, if you can wait 3 or 4 days, which a lot of people have told us that they're going to wait until we have this book signing live stream, that we will be able to have that here, and we will be able to sign it here, and then we will ship that out to you. But we'll also need shipping and handling also, because it's coming to us. We're paying for that, and then we're going to send it out to you. Linda from Texas, you're going to be the first one that we autograph and sign a book, or our first book that we're going to autograph and sign. You've already sent the money through another way, so we know, I mean, it's already received. So when we get that first book, you're going to be the first one that's that we autograph and inscribe words for you. Lee Tracker E's friend, who was it? Bought the first one. Jennifer. I don't know if she's on this channel or watching tonight, but she was the first one to order the very first book off the press. But we do appreciate everyone who has been supporting. Also, the Patreon members. Patreon membership is in the description below. We want to thank our Patreon members for support. But you can also support through PayPal or Cash App. And we can accept that. And like you see right now, we don't have our banners up, our emblem here, whatever, however it goes.
Our fancy things.
Our fancy things. We don't have the funds to pay the stream yet. We had a sponsor who was taking care of that for us. But they also were doing it for a short time, and we do appreciate them at that time for what they had done. So we don't have pictures really. I don't even know if we have the pictures that we can put up tonight, but we're gonna wing it. We're gonna try our best. We are gonna be talking about the Bigfoots and hieroglyphs, where to find that information. We're going to show you how to read the hieroglyphs, and if we did have our stream up, you would have the pictures this big in front of you, so you can see it clearly. You're going to have to bear with us today. We're going to try to put it up as close as we can, so that you can see that hieroglyph that we're going to be talking about, and we're going to get through it. No matter what, we're going to get through it. So,
and you can also, after the program, go look up the illustrations online of this exact thing.
Maybe. Now, everyone who looks it up, you're going to find this Now, this is about portals, times, dates, seasons, the Mayan calendar, the Mayan count. All of that information is on that. But what we're going to be talking about is the part of this that nobody really knows about. We had a heckler today who was talking about no one can decipher the Aztec Sunstone. There's not enough information. There's not enough scrolls or things like that. But we've already deciphered it. So whoever this guy is, he doesn't know what he's talking about because it's already done, and we're going to do it again here. Now, this information, like we showed you with the Aztec Sunstone, the face part, is what everybody sees. And it's also what everybody sees when they go to Mexico and sees in the museum in Mexico, near the Templar of Mayor, there is the Aztec Sunstone. It's on a big wall. It's put up there. It's big, stone. The inscriptions are there. They tell you about the portals, entry dates, and things like that. The people who are doing the presentations at the museums don't have this information because I've listened to them. I was there listening to their presentation, and they don't have this information. This information comes from someone else who understands the Aztec Sunstone. He was a premier presenter for this, but we'll get into that and we'll explain more about that in just a minute. But the information that we're sharing tonight, like what everybody sees is this. Everybody sees the very front or the face of the Aztec Sunstone. Aztec Sunstone. What we're talking about, which a lot of people don't know, is about the information that's on the side of the wheel that goes like this. And we're going to be talking about this information, not this information. This information. This information a lot of people don't have. A lot of people have not even seen. And we're going to break that down for you and explain it in the hieroglyphs and teach you how to read. But we're only going as far as the Bigfoot. There's more, and it talks about evolution, the epochs and things like that. We're not getting into that tonight, but we're going to show you where the Bigfoot comes, where the configuration came from. And if you have that book, if you have the Bigfoot documentary DVD, you have the story, The Legend of Time. That story is a key. And there was a guy talking about that today. There's no key, there's no deciphering, but that story is the key to deciphering all the hieroglyphs. Egyptian, Ojibwe, sky maps, map of the universe, Voynich, Aztec Sunstone, Fibonacci sequence. That information is there. We have more information than any other channel. We're sharing that here freely, and we want you to know what we know. The only way we're all, and we were told this, the Indian people were told this by some of the past leaders, that if the other people are going to survive with us, they have to know exactly what we know. They have to know everything that we know for them to survive and to be with us at the end. And those times are now, those times are here. Everybody knows these Bigfoots are around. Everybody knows nothing is normal. The weather, everything is abnormal right now. So these times are here, and we're sharing this information so you have it. You're not going to find this information in any book. This is information you're not supposed to have.
Well, our book.
Well, yeah, our book. Our book, you will find this information. But as far as the world, you're not supposed to know any of this information. It's a thing that if you don't know, you're easy prey for the end days. It won't be a fight. The demons are going to win. Devil's going to win that takeover of the physical, but the spiritual, God's got already. It's already been won. But people will be going through times. The people who have this information won't be going through these times. We'll have the spirituality. We're ready. We know what's going on. When the beasts are released, when that veil is broke and they come in full force, there's only one thing that's wrong with that prophecy. The only thing wrong with that is God has spiritual warriors here. And we too will be released on that day. When they are released to come and kill everyone and eat everyone, we will be released to do what we have to do also. We have a lot of warriors with us, a lot of spiritual warriors with us who understand what's going on. We appreciate each and every one of you. And we're all in this together. Don't think. That's why we have to give this information out. Even if we go poor and broke and like we have been, we always
in the ways that matter.
We're rich in education and knowledge and what we have to do in the spirituality, the Bible, God. We're rich in all that, and we have lots of great friends to share, that richness of blessings of friendship and love. But we're gonna stay on this channel as long as we can. But also, if we've already been kind of threatened by the StreamYard that if we don't pay that they're going to shut us down, which we can go straight to YouTube. It's no big deal. We'll go straight to YouTube. The only problem is that all the information that has been the over 350, 300, 400 videos of information knowledge, that is what will be lost. But we can go over to YouTube and start again, start from scratch. We've started from scratch 4 or 5 times. We've backed up to for new people. We've done that. So that's where we're at right now. But also PayPal and Cash App is a good support way for us. Also in the link below, in the very link below, if you haven't been with us for a while, we do have a trailer and a film in the description below. Both are called Tracking and Deterrence 101 for homeowners. One of them's a trailer, one of them's a 3.5-hour video of where we went to a friend's house, a very good friend now, went to their house, started from scratch and showed everyone how we get the confirmation and how we start the deterrence. There's video, there's audio, night vision, thermals, and the clearing of blinds so that you see what we do. We lay track traps to get the confirmation of how close they're coming and things like that. You'll see and hear all that on that video, which is in below 3 hours and 16 minutes, I think. Tracking the Deterrence 101 for homeowners.
We'd like to remind y'all that Luke 10:19 says, I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you. He's talking to his children and those who believe.
And once you believe, once you know, once you have that faith, once you have that trust, you can trample. You can trample on snakes, scorpions, everything. You're protected.
And scorpions, we would remind you, come from the arachnid.
Yeah, the scorpion is still a spider also.
That's important in what we talk about tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also in the link below, Spiritual House Cleansing with Lead Tracker E and Jerry Williams. It's how we put a video up of how we spiritually clean homes, what we do and what we use, and the words that we use to seal that. But it is upkeep. It's not like it's a one-time thing. Demons will return. People leave those doors open. They invite other people into their homes. These things come with them, and you get infested again. It's an upkeep. You have to keep up with what is in that video. So if you get time, especially if you're having translucence or shadow people or voices or muffles in your home, please watch that video and also watch the deterrence video so that you can get a head start on. As soon as you can, get that book and also get the DVD. It has more information than anyone has ever put out on this. Also, this is not an open forum. We announce this with every
time,
every stream, and yet we have people come in and try to disrupt, and we don't have that here. And we do have friends and monitors who will quickly let us know. And all we're going to do, we're not going to debate anything. We're not going to talk with you. We're just going to delete and block you and continue with the lesson. We don't have time for nonsense or disturbances while we're trying to share important information.
we have one more verse, Isaiah 13:22, and this is from the 1599 Geneva Bible. But Jim shall lodge there, and their houses shall be full of Ohim. Ostriches shall dwell there, and the satyrs dance there, and limbs shall cry in their palaces, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And the time thereof is ready to come, and the days thereof shall not be prolonged.
A lot of great verses. Also, remember, this is not an open forum. We do love it when people say hi to each other, because there's a lot of friends and trackers and returning viewers who like to say hi to each other. We love that. We love seeing the communication happen together, as long as we're on the same page, as long as we know where we're going and we're all focused. We do have more tracking videos that we'll be putting up soon. We did a east side track, a mid track, and now we're going to do a west side track. We did catch a couple of predators, not on our property, but on the adjacent, because they are safer over there. They know. They get on our property, we go hunting.
People have recently moved in there that have small children and a lot of barnyard animals, and that's attracting them.
There's all that commotion, the children playing, the noises, the donkeys,
Raccoon.
the
We have
raccoon.
a pet raccoon.
That's all food to a Bigfoot, to a predator Bigfoot. That's nothing but food over there. And they, it's just a matter of time until we're gonna start getting reports from over there. The raccoon's gonna be missing. Their donkeys are gonna be acting up at night. The dogs are gonna be barking, which they're already doing now.
There's already 2 huge breaks
Two
there on
huge
either side
breaks.
of the yard, but that we have informed them, and we are tracking the property around there.
And we've let them know that we're only a minute away. If they have anything on their homes or uneasiness, let us know. We're only a call away. We're less than a minute, and we can be there, and we know what to do when we get there. So again, this is not an open forum. This is for teaching, sharing of information, and interviews. The monitors will be giving us tabs, and if y'all see any disturbances or disruptions, please just send us a quick message. We'll find
Text
that.
me. Yeah.
You
Text.
can text Lead Tracker E. We will find that comment and that person, and we will go and delete and block them, and we'll continue. We do appreciate everyone who helps us with that.
And someone texted me a moment ago and let me know that the disruptor from last week tried the same thing on Bettina Moss's show last night and got banned.
They're going channel to channel, and they're going to get banned here if we can catch them. We will too. We do have interviews set up or lined up. The first one that's coming up is going to be with Vault and Cat, Vault and Nightmares. Check out their channel. We're going to do a book review kind of talk. Vault has the book, and he has read it twice that we know of. He's going to, as soon as he gets set up, We're going to be having an interview with him. And we're not going to do interviews with anyone unless they read the book or if they've seen the DVD, because we'll just be starting from scratch with them. They'll be asking questions that's in the book or in the DVD. And to us, it's like you already had the answer, you just didn't do the homework. But we know Vault has already read that book twice, so we don't mind having an interview with him over the book. That's going to be a good one. Can't wait for that. If Josh gets the book and reads that book, and so he understands our intelligence and our level, then we can have an interview with him. That's why it's still in the works. It's supposed to be later in the month. They have more people they're interviewing, from what I understand. But we also have another interview before that, and then we'll get to that also. But that is a good channel. They have a lot of good stories.
What we're here
Check them
for
out.
is trying to prevent all those good, horrifying stories from happening. That's the purpose of our channel.
And our book and our DVD.
Mhm.
That book, if you hear any stories or bad stories or horrific camping stories or Bigfoot, walking wolf, or chupacabra, any kind of horror story, if they had our book first, that wouldn't have happened. It shows you how to deter. It shows you what to look for, what not to do. You know, like all these other channels are showing you the very wrong things to do, which is getting a lot of people harmed and killed and missing. So our book is read the book first and then read those horror stories, or then listen to those stories on the internet. And you'll see that if reading that book first, you're going to see and hear everything that they did wrong. If you read a book or a story, you're going to see that they did everything wrong or that they were taught wrong. But and there are some other people who've talked about doing some interviews with us, but they're not on the same level as Vault and Josh. They're either new or they don't have the experience, or they've never been in the field. You know, they haven't done tracking or even seen a Bigfoot. So it's hard to talk with people like that because they don't understand. They don't know what to look for, or especially if you have the book, you understand when we talk about shadow language, bird language, translucent viewing, and you know those chapters like that. But if you don't have it, you don't understand what we're talking about.
We just want to keep moving forward so that we're not stalled out here over and over and over again.
And
So we're starting back at the beginning again, but then we want to keep moving forward.
And we have to keep moving forward. We can't wait for everybody. That's why the books and the DVD is out. Start there and watch this channel. And hopefully you can binge, because if this channel goes down, all that information's gone.
So if you would, download those.
Download.
Download those for us, please.
Download
For
for yourself.
Download it for yourself. And then if we don't have them, then maybe we can get them back that way if need be.
There is
The more that
loads.
information's out there, the better.
If you understood how much information we've left for you, over 350, 400
Videos and live streams.
lives,
Yeah.
information.
Posts.
No one else has shared anything close to that. But if it goes down, please, as quick as you can, start recording your favorite ones, whatever has the most information that you have, that you need. Because if it goes down, it's all gone.
And we know that people love Kindle, but we would encourage you because of things like the grid going down, or if you can get a hard book that you can hold in your hands, that's so much better, because you're going to have that no matter what happens with the electronics. So we encourage that.
Some of our friends has bought the paperback and the Kindle,
Yeah,
just so they could have it on hand.
with them, and then, yeah,
At
but
all
still
times.
have the backup.
Have the backup at all times. So we got those interviews coming up, and that's coming up pretty soon.
Our post office box is 655 Antlers, Oklahoma 74523. If anyone wants to write us old school.
Yeah, old school. Or if you would like to purchase the DVD that way also, or the book, we can do that also for you.
if you do write a check or money order, we would say make it out. Well, never mind. Never mind.
We'll get everything worked out.
Yeah.
And again, Ghost, we got your DVD format. It has just a few glitches, but we're sending you also the Blu-ray, which is perfectly fine. And it's going to give us a little time to work on this a little bit more. It's going to take a little time to get it formatted to the DVD perfectly. But we got a few ideas of how we can do that, and we're going to be working on that. And once we get that done, we're going to send you that one also. So you'll have 3. And you can share. If you don't have a Blu-ray, give it to somebody who's got a Blu-ray. If they don't have a, when you get your full documentary DVD, if someone needs it, give them the other one.
But he's been working on trying to get that for you for most of 3 days.
Ooh. On the day we said we're going to start doing it, oh, it was a long, long episode. So, but we're going to, next, what we do here is we do the comments. We see who's all here. We, talk with the people here before we get started. And then we'll get to the lesson and the stories. Now, this is Standing Feather Stories. It's not, we have other streams that we use. We have the Tracker channel, which this is a part of that, but this is Standing Feather Stories. We also have Tracker team meetings. We have that for the Patreon members who want to be or have access to those meetings to come and join us and talk about what needs to be talked about. You have a room full of experienced trackers. They all have had experience. They know what you need as far as your answers. Let's see, we had something else. Tracking miracles and encounters. We also have that stream that's where we track when someone has an encounter or a miracle, we track how that came to be. And if someone has an encounter, we track back what we missed because we are guided. But if we overlook them and just shake it off and keep going without hearing the warnings, then we're going to have that encounter, that dangerous encounter. But we track that back to show people what we're talking about and the signs that we look for, the spiritual signs that we look for, which helps guide us so that we don't have those encounters. But again, if you have that book, we're going to be also having a private book study from time to time with all the people who have the books until there's enough that has the book that makes this common knowledge, and then we can have a full open stream and share more information. But if you can't go to the Amazon channel, it's a free thing. Just click on it. It'll open up. It'll show you the table of contents. The table of contents is like no other book that's ever been written on this topic.
Okay, we'll start with the comments. Greet everyone. Scott's here. Hey, Scott.
All right, Scott.
Darcy's here.
Oh, and Scott, we do plan on going up to visit some areas tomorrow after the tracker meeting.
Yes. Henry is here, but he's hurting.
Good to hear from you, Henry. Darcy?
Henry got hurt today. Yeah. He's been doing a little bit too much. Yes, Darcy's here. Let's see. If I roll too fast, I'll lose the place. Junior's here.
Junior. All right, Junior.
We agree with Scott, who says, Henry, stay off the ladder until you're 100%.
Yep, get healed first.
JR is here.
JR. Ghost Star Dancers here. All right. Linda from Texas. All right.
Lots of Mary's here.
Mary. All right, Mary. Great to hear from you. I'm glad
Hope
you're
you're
here.
feeling better too.
Hope you're feeling better.
Tracker C is here.
Tracker C. Help us out with that monitoring tonight, please.
Yeah,
And all the
we logged
trackers.
in one day. We had the option to be able to make somebody a moderator, and that's the last time we've seen that option come up. Adventures of Pawpaw and T-Dog are here. I used to call my
Hey.
youngest daughter T-Dog. Says hello from Texas. I can't stay long, but we'll continue watching tomorrow. We're glad you popped in to say hello.
Okay.
My name is Steve Walden.
All right. Now we know who you
We're
are.
writing that down.
And Steve, we have to let you know we was kind of cautious about you at first. We didn't know who Steve Walden was.
We didn't know if you were an agent or what was going on.
But we've seen the Adventures of Pawpaw and T-Dog all the time. But if you would like to be a part of those tracker meetings, just let us know. We'll send you the link. It's a private meeting, but we know you've been with us for a while. We do appreciate your support.
We do.
And would love to have you in a room talking with us. A lot of people are, we let them go last so that they see how the meeting goes. But we're looking for any kind of active report, anything that's happening in your area, your home especially, and then branch out from there.
Missing people, missing pets.
Missing pets, anything that's information from your area.
Henry says books on Amazon, very easy to get. Yes.
Hey, a fellow Texan.
Start Answer's getting some rain. Everybody's needing that right now.
All right. Cold front coming through for everybody.
Oh, it felt wonderful here today. Linda finally got some rain.
Good. She said they need some rain.
Tennessee, Kentucky, Bigfoot's here.
All right. Tennessee.
And his crew.
Team L.
Judy's here.
Judy. All right. Judy.
Hope you're feeling better too, Judy.
And Judy, I hope we can get that internet thing fixed out so you can be in those meetings. But we do see that you glitch in and glitch out.
Yeah, we know you're trying.
We know you're trying though.
Marquetta's here.
Marquetta. All right. Oh, lots of good people. Lots of good people.
Everybody's greeting each other. We're not reading those, but we're glad you're greeting each other.
Yeah, glad you're saying hello to each other.
Darcy says, thank you for sharing the information.
Our pleasure.
Yeah. Roger Blair's here. Howdy from Eastern Kentucky. Hey, Roger.
Hello, Roger. All right. Roger.
Read that one.
How much do you need for the stream? We could do the basic. I think that's $20 or $25. We could keep it as a basic. We just don't have that right now, and I hate to say that, but we're right in the middle of things.
Any income from the books takes, like, from what we understand, up to 90 days.
Yeah, so we're not even seeing any income from that
just
for
yet.
2 to 3 months. So
let's see. Darcy says, everyone please listen with an open mind. This is deep information that will make you want to hesitate, but pray for God's discernment. Absolutely. We expect, thank you, Darcy, for that. We expect everyone to you should be taking everything anyone says. Don't put people up on a pedestal. Take everything anyone says back to God in prayer and pray for discernment.
Yeah. Ask
for the Holy Spirit discernment. Linda says, one of my favorite Bibles. Yes, it's a great one. A lot of things taken out of that in newer interpretations. Marquetta says, and Josh Turner as well. See, I thought I heard that name the other night. I thought I heard him say, like, Cassie, you keep asking me that, but I never could find that spot again. So she's just making the rounds, I guess.
Yeah.
Pray for
So
her.
all of you other groups, stay to your guns, keep going. Don't worry about them, those people. Just shake them off and keep going.
Scott says, oh, she did say that. Got banned on Josh Turner's channel too.
She got banned here too. And we're just
Well,
waiting
don't
for
act bad.
just.
Act right. Come correct.
I know.
Marquetta says, I blocked that person last night at Scott's Life and interest from Bettina Moss last night.
All right.
Good.
Good.
Yeah, we don't need that energy.
No.
Scott says, the book is fantastic. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Scott says, I saw you there, Marquetta. Good work.
Marquetta.
We're going to have to, he probably won't, but I'm probably going to go back and take a look at that.
Yeah, I don't like looking at the other channels.
Tracker C says, great job, Marquetta Jones.
Great job. Great job. Papa.
Have you, Steve Walden? Yes.
All right, Steve.
New arches found. Judy found some new arches. Yeah, we also call them bows.
Yeah, we've been watching you, Jordy.
Did
Judy.
you say Jordy?
Yeah, I was looking at another one too.
Shorty?
Jordy.
Judy.
I think I was looking at.
Dolores, you were looking at Dolores. You kind of combined Dolores
Yeah, I
and
think so.
Judy. How you doing,
I
Dolores?
think we missed something though. I thought
We must have. We must have missed Dolores back here somewhere, because we see the greetings to you. Sorry about that, Dolores. We don't see you, but glad you're here.
Glad to see you, Dolores. We're very happy you're
Oh, there
here.
she is. Okay.
Okay. There she
All right. We're all caught up on comments. Now, Standing Feather Stories. For anyone new to the channel, this is Jerry Williams, the Bigfoot expert, and also known as Lead Horse Choctaw, Choctaw Elder. He was also the last man standing at Standing Rock. And I'm Lead Tracker E. We're tracking partners. Would you give us a brief update? The last time we talked, where we ended the last Standing Feather Stories, you had played a part in saving the Amish children from the human traffickers. And then you were going to make your way back to California to talk to the man about the Egyptian Sunstone. Could you pick up from there, or wherever you want to? But
I also wanted to say that there were some things about no Bigfoot experts. There's plenty of experts on this channel. All of our trackers are experts. They have the book, they have the documentary, they went over the videos, they have had their own experiences, they know what's going on, they do their own deterring, they know what's going on, they have their spiritual armor on. But people also have to understand that on this continent, as you would say, that before anyone else arrived, that there were experts on this predator Bigfoot, because we had to deal with it. We had to deal with the giants. We had to deal with the Bigfoots, the walking wolves, the chupacabras, every kind of sadistic predator you could think of. Our people had to deal with them, had to fight them. A lot of us died. A lot of us were taken. A lot of us were eaten. We know these things. We know what's going on. And we're sharing this information. We're sharing where other tribes like the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Egyptians, everyone was sharing this information. But people were taught not to read hieroglyphs, not to read manuscripts, not to use the Fibonacci sequence. People were taught 2 + 2. They weren't taught 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. They weren't taught the creation sequence. They weren't taught how to heal themselves using the creation sequence. But we have shared that here before also. But I just want to say that, you know, before there were anyone even doing studies, our people were actively in battle with these things. We had to retrieve people from being captured and things like that. So let's start there before we can move forward. But when we did end the last stream on Standing Feather Stories, we were talking about, the last thing was when I had the opportunity to go to jail.
Many of his stories start that way, but it's always for good things, noble things.
noble things I've got thrown in jail for because the corrupt people, the demonic people wanted me out of the way. So I spent a lot of time in jails protecting water, land, people, territories. I was always on the front line, stop nuclear plants. I was also offered $3 million annually to step out of the way, to shut up, to turn my back on everyone here, and to shut up and not talk anymore in my lifetime. That means no more protesting. That means no more raising Cain, being defiant, trying to bring information to everyone. But I turned that down. I couldn't do that. That was not something I was willing to sacrifice my abilities and freedom to help other people. I just couldn't turn my back on the children. So that revenue right now would be about $39 million that I turned down
Of blood money.
of blood money. There were some people who did take that money. They're dead now. It was just like karma. Like the next year they had passed in certain weird ways, I guess you would say.
Karma would be what we would call reaping, sowing and reaping.
So we've turned down more things, and sometimes it kind of agitates me whenever I see a young guy or something, saying, well, get a job, that kind of thing, because I don't have much. But, I keep thinking, I've turned down more money than you could ever make in 20 lifetimes, just so I would turn my back on you. And now you're saying this to me. I've also applied at the Choctaw Cultural Center and the Choctaw Hieroglyph Department. Well, it's the not Hieroglyph Department, but the it's not anthropology. I can't think of what department that is, but I was told I'm overqualified.
But here, mop these floors.
But they did offer the job to mop floors, which
he
I
has
did.
done. He's
I
done
did
plenty
do.
times, yeah.
I did do, just to say it's no big deal. I'll do that for you. But they would not advance me, even though everything that we're going to be talking about is way advanced than the Choctaw people have.
It just doesn't fit the script.
Yeah, they didn't want a new or the correct information into our people. They still want to keep hold of the people. But if you have this information, you're not looking for a leader. You're not looking for a master. You're looking to help each other. You're equal with everybody. We're not in that society of I'm better, you're better than me, or that kind of thing. That's not a part of what we do or who we are. But the last thing, that's just to let you know that, I can't get the jobs that I should be teaching because I'm overqualified, but they do offer me to sweep and clean dumpsters. I'm the only one who could read the hieroglyphs of the tribe, and yet I'm not in there because I can read. So that's just to let people know that, I've turned down millions of dollars. I'm overqualified to teach anywhere in public. So here we had to make our own stream. Also because we were being kicked off of every other Bigfoot channel because of the information that we were sharing. It didn't sound correct to them or what they were used to. But then when they find out this information later and the proof is shown, like the 6-fingered Bigfoot and things like that, which we informed people about and was kicked off of another stream. I think that's Texas Front Porch. Was kicked off of there, but then they got a print like a month or two later, and it was a big hour or whatever.
Amazing discovery.
Amazing discovery, and yet no one brought it up that we'd already talked about that, and we were banned for talking about that. So
the knowledge wasn't for them.
So the last thing that we talked about was saving the Amish children from the human traffickers. We got some people back. The young man who was willing and was ready to kidnap a lot of Amish children, and who also offered me $100,000 to help. But that was reported. He was captured. His sister was captured, who actually sold her own child to some traffickers in Syracuse. They got that child back. Last thing I knew, they was all arrested and that the child was back. And I talked to the Amish person. He's the leader of their group in New York, and he offered to cut wood for me anytime for free, and he appreciated the information because it did save his people in that area. So that's where we ended the last standing feather story, and now we're going to advance from there. Now, now in this same area where I was living, it was on a reservation up in the Mohawk territory. I was the first person to start a group of the missing and murdered woman and son center, also up there on the reservation, with the tribe later developed their own to generate money and funds for themselves. But we weren't helped one bit, but we had more information than everybody. When I was up there living with the Mohawk people, and I went to every protest. Every time there was a standoff, I was there. Everyone knew that they could count on me. I was always at the fire, cutting wood, helping, whatever, taking my duties, my shifts, everything. And I was training a lot of these young warriors on how we do things in protests and standoffs, how to stay safe, and how to maneuver if you have to. There was parades going on in this reservation through the town, but they were for missing and murdered. There were some people, when I returned from Standing Rock, I was the last man standing at Standing Rock. A lot of people don't know that, some do. But I was the very last person at Standing Rock to be taken. And I was taken by force because I wasn't leaving. And it took 5 of them with a mace and everything like that. And we'll get to that also. But up there on that area, it's right on the border. There's a lot of murders, a lot of missing people, the corrupt tribal government, the police, the tribal police or tribal security. They're as corrupt as you can get. They kill people. They steal from people. They take the drugs. They take the money. This is on the border. I know because I was there, and I talked to all the people who, even if they came to the house to search, for a person, the tribal police, if they liked a watch or if they liked a phone, they would pick it up and put it in their pocket and walk out with it. When the money was seized, let's say $250,000 was seized, 100,000 would show up. If the drugs, which the bags of drugs would be confiscated, about a third of that would be shown, and then it would be redistributed. For small traffic accident, warrants, they would clip your car and roll you. And I've even had a friend tell me that one of the tribal security police had a gun to the back of his head in a ditch because they made him get down there, and they told him that I could kill you and I could get away with it. So these are the people I was dealing with at that time. So I had the only missing and murdered organization in that area at that time. The police in that area, or the tribal police, they're not even, and this is why I say sometimes that Indians are not Indians. Some Indians are not Indians. They look Indian, but they're not. They had Chinese background. They changed their names. I remember there was one that was their last name was really Pork, which was a Chinese immigrant name at that time, but they changed it to Rourke, and now they were the chief of police, and they're as corrupt as you could possibly get. I've seen them do work, and it's just something you can't be around. But there was a young man I was Now this was after Standing Rock, but I was laying in bed one night and I was already asleep and I got a phone call about 4 o'clock in the morning, I think. He said he needed to talk, and which everybody knew that I was back from Standing Rock, and that I had the only missing and murdered organization. And I'm very trusted with many tribes because I've helped many tribes. Never asked anything from them. I did whatever they needed, and I stood guard, and I've been in more standoffs and oh, I couldn't tell you how many. But so this guy who called me at 4 o'clock in the morning, he wanted to talk. He wanted to. He knew I was back from Standing Rock. He had gotten back from Standing Rock. He was there also. He got back from Standing Rock before me. But let me back up just a second, because this young man went to Standing Rock before I did. A group of warriors from this area went before I did. I personally had to go to Florida and try to get on any flight because I only had my tribal ID at that time, not a state or driver's license or anything. So I wasn't allowed to get on any flights. So I went from the tip of Florida all the way, I mean, the top to the tip, trying to find any plane that would get me to Cuba. Only because the Cuban people had offered the traditional people, you know, the original people, the ones who were not government affiliated, they were going to give us a serum that's to stop I can't think of what it's called when they cut someone's leg off, or amputations. It would get through there and still continue to get blood flow through them, to them, in those appendages, so that there was no more, you know, just cutting off of a limb. So I had to find a way to Cuba to get that, because they wasn't going to give it to the government or the tribal people, because they knew they was corrupt. So they talked with all of us, the traditional people, and we devised a plan to get down there, but we couldn't get a plane to get over to Cuba. And I had probably 3 other groups from California to Florida who were going to cross over in different areas. We all meet in Cuba. We all get a piece of the serum. We all divide up and we all try to make it back. And whoever makes it back, that we meet up and we get this serum to the people. And we had tribes. I talked to a lot of tribes from New York to Oklahoma. I mean, through Florida to Oklahoma, to let them know that. To let them know that we are going to get this serum and we're going to bring it back and we're going to share it so that there are no more amputations of our people. And to synthesize it, or to make more of it so we can get it out and share it to everybody. That was our goal at that time. But also Standing Rock was going on, and people were getting those flash grenades. There's a woman who got one here and it went off and it blew off her elbow, and it was just, you know, meat hanging there. People were getting shot in the eye with the rubber bullets. What they call bees, I believe is what it is. But they was using every lethal or non-lethal weapon that they could against everyone at Standing Rock. And one of those things would shoot out and it would explode and into small rubber bullets or beads and fire out. And this caused a lot of damage, eye damages, ear damages. People were getting hit in the heads with these things. There's a lot of things going on. And I got the call, and from some other warriors, they were asking me, why are you not at Standing Rock? And I said, because Standing Rock's already sold out. Their chief is already sold out with Obama in 2014. That was going to happen. They said, we know, but they're getting hurt up there. They need someone to go help them. And the kids are calling. So you know, just knowing that it was the kids who started that protest, that I changed directions and told them, okay, I'll head up to Standing Rock. I'll go and help. But I got to pick up a few things. And so I'm heading off to Standing Rock. There's, I walk in there, and also people are being kidnapped. This is not your standard city police. This is not your standard state troopers. These are mercenary groups that came in. There was Blackwater Mercenary, there was Tiger Swan Mercenary Group, and there was 2 or 3 other affiliated groups like that in that mix. It was hurting people.
They had missile launchers.
They had missile launchers up on the hills aimed at us.
Waves.
They had the LAD, the RADs or the RADs, which is the they send out that pulse, microwave pulse. It can cook you on the inside, and people could feel that heat, and we'd all back out. We knew what they were doing. We knew the tactics, and that's why we were there helping. When I arrived at Standing Rock, and this is just to catch us up to where we're at. Standing Rock, there's a whole big different story that we'll get to sometime. But you'll never see the ending of Standing Rock in any film or any movie unless we're in it, because we were the last. Too many people scurried and ran. But the people asked me, the young warriors asked me as soon as I walked in, because they knew I was coming. And in the Indian world, a lot of Indians know me, a lot of tribes know me. So it's like a different world. It's a different kind of thing that if you're in that world and they know you and you're trusted, you can go to any place, you know, because your name carries. And mine did. And these young men who met me at the door, there was also an infiltrator who was trying to say that he knew me and that he was from the same area I was. And he was in the camp, in the same camp that I was going to. And when I arrived, they said, oh yeah, there's another guy here that he says he knows you. He says he's friends with you and that, you know, he's from your same area. And he told me his name. I said, that guy's an infiltrator. I said, where's he at? And they looked for him. They looked for him. And he left. He left Standing Rock. He was infiltrating them also. But they asked me how long I was staying. I looked at all the men. I said, until it's over. And because so many people were coming in for the weekend, taking photos of I was at Standing Rock, you know, those kind of things.
The entertainers.
The entertainers would be there. Stars would show up, get their photos taken, and leave. They weren't there to stop the destruction or the people or the pipeline. The Lakota's security, most of them were drinkers, abusers. They harassed a lot of the people who came to help. They stole more than anything. I mean, anything that was tacked down or not tacked down, they were stealing. Generators, wood stoves, anything worth money. The Lakota security was stealing. And our group, which I went and formed another security group because of that, we had altercations with the Lakotas. We kicked them out of their own camp, but then their people let them back in. So we had altercations with them. None of our guys were drinkers. We all knew what we was doing. And so the chief, all the supplies that we needed that was sent to us by organizations and people and friends, the chief at that time, I can't think of his name, Dale or something. Dapple Dave was his name because he sold out and we knew that. But all the supplies that we needed, the generators, fire stoves, solar, things like that, he would put into a big storage building, and all the supplies, all the money that was coming in, that was going directly to his bank account. Everybody knew that. We all knew that. And so I was the last man standing at Standing Rock. I was there for 6 months through the hardest winter. And if you've seen any film from that, you knew that that was a generated storm. I was coming back one time from, I was on the interstate, but I could see where Standing Rock was. And there was only a storm over Standing Rock. And they were dropping rat poison on us. Many people got sick from that rat poison. It was in the snow, so anything you touched. So we're just walking around and just rat poison. Many people got sick. There was a time, because we were there protecting. I'm gonna tell a real quick story because it does still pertain to this. But I was trying to get my vehicle fixed, and there's millionaires now because people are getting money, and they're supposed to be the ones helping us with our vehicles or things like that so we can stay longer. But those people who were getting the money were not distributing, we're not sharing. And so we had to make things on our own, pretty much like we're doing now. But so I'm at the hotel, which is the Prairie Inn. It's just up the road from Standing Rock, maybe about 5 or 10 miles. I'm on the phone all day trying to get a hold of my guys, you know, our security group, but no one's answered their phone all day. I can't get a ride back to the camp. So I'm sitting on the second floor because if you sit on the first floor, you know, they want to know if you got a hotel room or, you know, things like that. But on the second floor, it's okay. So I'm sitting there on the second floor and I'm waiting. I'm kind of agitated because car's not fixed. No one's answering their phone. I know something's going on, but I can't get a hold of anybody. So this young man from Al Jazeera TV has a room there, and he comes out. He sits in that chair because there's 2 chairs by the elevator door. He comes and sits in the other chair, and he's, you know, sits kind of talking. He said, "Have you, you know, been down to the camp?" I said, "Yeah, you know." He said, "You been down to the, you know, front? You know what's going on?" I said, "Yeah, I know what's going on." He goes, "Why are you not at the camp? You know, are you got a room up here?" I said, "No." So I'm trying to get my car fixed because of the back broke out because of a mud hole in the snow and the ice. But I said, "But I can't get a hold of my guys. And I've been calling them all day, so that means something's going on." You know, they use walkie-talkies at that time and not the phones. So I'm like, I need to get down there, but I can't get a ride. And so he looked at me and he said, "Well, do you want to go? I can take you." I was like, "Yeah, I need to go. I need to get down there." And so he said, "Well, let me get my video recorder or his camera," because he's from Al Jazeera TV. And he's wanting to do a story. And I said, "Well, let's get it. You know, as soon as you can go, let's go. I'm ready." And so while we're going, you know, making our way to the camp, I get a phone call. And it's from a good name named Julian Rodriguez. He's part of the AIM group. He's actually one of the top guys in the AIM in California. Very good guy, very good friend. Trust him. He called me and he said, "Where are you at?" I said, "I'm on my way. I've been trying to call and get a hold of you guys all day. What's going on?" He said, "Well, we're at the front lines at the wall." I said, "Okay, I'll be there in a minute." So I got a ride. I said, "I'm actually bringing an Al Jazeera reporter in also. So if you got some people who want to interview, you know, he's coming." And so we got to, and when you get to Standing Rock, I mean, the camp is over to the right, but where we had to go to the wall and to the bridge, the standoff, is further up. So you had to bypass the camp and keep going. Our guys had a fire going there, trying to stay warm. There's a lot of people there, a lot of groups there. We get out of the car, we start walking, and there's a long line of cars to that bridge. A lot of people there, you know, a couple thousand people, and we're coming in. And I see Julian, and he's like, "Hey, you ready to go in?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Okay." So he walkie-talkies, and we start walking in. And this Al Jazeera guy is with us, and you know, we're head of security, he's head of AIM, you know, so there's some clout going there. And we start walking in, and it's like the sea parted. You know, it just opened up. And me, Julian, and the guy from Al Jazeera is walking in, but the Al Jazeera guy is like going, you know, you just, all these guys just opened up, but he didn't know that we'd been there for a while. And that was most of our security team, and that some of these groups were all working together now. And so we get down to the wall. Everybody knows me there, especially on the front line. All of the young men, the young warriors who have been training to do this security task, they're there. We meet with them behind the wall. We're standing right behind the front wall that they had built to kind of stop the bullets from coming. And I said, well, this guy's from Al Jazeera, you know, get your interview, whatever you need. And because these guys have the right information. There was a guy who was standing up on the wall who knew me too. He looked down and he said, "Lead horse." I looked up at him. I said, "What's going on?" He goes, "You want to come up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll come up." And once you get up on that wall, you're a target. You're the biggest target. You're standing there wide open. You're not behind a wall. You don't have other guys in front of you. And this guy tells another guy, he said, "Why don't you get out of his way so he can use that step and climb up here?" And so I started walking up. And as soon as I get to the top, I'm looking over the whole thing, and all these guys are up here. They're all saying, "Come on with it," you know, and all that. And then that's whenever I have my speech there. And it is also on my, if you go to Lead Horse Choctaw, it's another YouTube page that I used to have. It may still be open, but I do have that part where I'm talking to Tiger Swan mercenary military, and I'm also talking to these young men and telling them that I never was with the mercenary group. I was with the military. Whole different thing. Mercenaries are not military. They come from military most, but they're not military. Military minded, like you're supposed to be trained. So I'm telling everyone that don't be like these guys. If you want to help people, you come to this side. We are here to protect water, to protect people. Those, you do not do that. You do not harm people. You do not interfere with people's survival. And so I'm having this big thing, and it is on that stream, and hopefully I can post on my group page later. But there's a big speech like that. And if you look at that video, you're going to see that when I'm standing up there, I'm still a target. These are snipers. These are people who could take you out and put that in your eye if they had permission to. But I'm still up there talking, and I'm looking down at all of the Tiger Swan military, basically saying, whoever wants it, let's get it. This one man walks out of the shadows, and he's got a beard. You know, he's got the scarf of, you know, being overseas. That's not a military person. I knew that. They don't have big beards. Those are mercenary groups. He come out. He looked at me. Thought you could see him thinking for a second. He turned around and walked back into the darkness. Now, the young men who were out there didn't know the manpower that the mercenary group had, even though we had quite a bit, but we didn't have weapons. Now, as soon as that man turned around and walked back into the darkness, like a spider, up on the hill, you could see car lights. Boom, 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 boom. There was Humvees, I mean, military, all lined up there in the dark that we couldn't see. But they all started pulling off and driving away after that. And that's when I turned around and looked at the guys. I said, well, I guess it's over. We're all going to go in for the night, get some rest, get some hot food. We'll take this up tomorrow. They're going home. So they all left. We went back to our area, and people at our tent area was asking me where I've been all day because all this going on. And, you know, I had to joke and laugh and say, well, if y'all would have came and got me. But I was up at the hotel all day in the warm room and eating, waiting on y'all while they were out there in the cold, and But it was like a day or two later that tiger swan attacked again, and this time they were shooting bullets, bees. They were coming back on a mission. They had to have went and regrouped and said, we can't just walk off from something like that. We need to go in there and show a presence. So they came back, and they came back hard. Now we before that onslaught, before this whole section, our group, I'm also a ceremony leader. I know the ceremonies. I know when they're supposed to be done, how to do them. I know the medicines that we use in those. I know the songs, the dances of the ceremonies. I'm a ceremony keeper. So I'm hosting the ghost dance. And you may know about the ghost dance through history, but the ghost dance was to rid the people of the evil ones. And history recalls that the soldiers were the ones who shot the ghost dancers, the first ghost dancers, when they started doing this dance. It was to rid the people of evil and to give them protection. And that's why if you see the old movies, they're saying the bullets will not harm you. Keeping the ceremony. But so this security group that I've been teaching and training a whole bunch of young warriors. They had equipment, but they weren't organized. So I went in there and organized to 4 on, 4 off. No one sleeps 8 hours. Everyone has someone awake at all time. You're doing your patrols every hour. And we also need to do our surveillance here. So I also let them know that we're having a ghost dance, and that we're going to have that for 4 days, and we're going to be dancing, singing, and praying, and using the medicines for that entire time. Everything was still going on. There was still chaos going on in the camp, but we had a big military tent, and that's where we hosted that ceremony. And so every hour they would go out and do their rounds and everything. But we had every 12, 3, 6, and 9, or every 3 hours, we would all come back. We would continue our dancing, our praying, and our singing, and then we would go out and do our rounds, and then we'd come back, and we carried this on for 4 days. So every 3 hours, you could be inside the tent, but every 3 hours you would hear woo, 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 all these snowmobiles coming in, and 4-wheelers. These young ones were making it a priority to be at that ghost dance, to be at that ceremony. There were other people having ceremonies, sweat lodges, and things like that. We do those, but we don't know the people who are performing those, and we do not go into ceremony unless we know that ceremony leader and we trust them. There are certain things that you do that a lot of people don't know not to do. I was going to give a quick example, but so anyway, we're having the ghost dance ceremony, and we perform it 4 days. We get through it. We have the sunrise ceremony the day after, that morning after we've completed that. The ceremony was completed. There was a young man who was in our group. He's supposed to be with us. He's a good friend. He's supposed to be in those ceremonies with us, but he chose to venture out on his own, to go to the sweat lodge with the Lakotas, and he would go to, listen to this elder, or, he was doing things that we were not there to do. But that was him, and everyone has a free will and they could do whatever they want. But we were there as security to keep people safe. So this young man didn't make it to the ceremony, and we had this altercation with the Tiger Swan mercenary military, and our guys brought back flash grenades, rubber bullets, those beads, and things like that that they were shot at with. They had a on their bed. They just laid them all out. Everyone brought something back, and you could see the grenades and things like that that was used. And we got photos of those also. But so I'm at the tent during this altercation, because what I was doing was teaching. I'm teaching you exactly what to do. Now you go out. You are the young ones. You are the young warriors. You go out. You've got your ceremony. You've got your information. You know how to ghost. And what we're talking about with ghost is to wear completely white and ride your snowmobile in complete darkness. And that's why I had them going out every hour. I wanted them to know every rock, every hill, everything that would harm them when they're riding around with complete darkness. I also had them tape up their lights so that your lights wouldn't be seen either in the dark, so no one could get a shot at you. But this altercation broke out, and they were shooting everything, flash grenades, everything they had this time. They were coming over the river. They were coming in, kidnapping people, tying them up. I wasn't there at that time, but my job was to teach these young ones how to do certain things and how to make it back safe. They did exactly the way they were taught, and they all came back safe. Not one of them was captured. And there was also an elder woman who was in the ghost dance with us. She, an elderly woman, respected in her tribe, which was the Seneca tribe. Well respected there. She during this altercation, when the bullets started flying and people started getting tagged, she fell down. And this is an elderly woman of, I would say, 70-ish somewhere, but she was with us. So one of our guys grabbed her by the back of her winter coat and started dragging her back and over the embankment. There was a snow embankment. They pulled her over the embankment, and they pulled her until they could get her clear and help her stand up. And then they helped her, make it to the back. And they got back to the tent. They come all back to the tent. And, a lot of people did get hurt. But our guys, they came in and they were smiling and they were laughing. And I mean, there were people hurt, don't get me wrong, but our guys did exactly what they were supposed to do. When they come back, they was laughing and smiling, and they were saying, "Oh, I could hear that bullet go right past my ear." One person said, I felt that bullet go right between my arm and my jacket. I could feel it go through there. And they'd say, I could feel it skimming. All these bullets were whizzing by them. The elderly woman who was being dragged out said that she could see the bullets coming past her, just missing, just going over her. And she's being pulled, and the guy who's pulling her doesn't get hit either. The young man who was not at the ceremony, who did not stay with us, who did not learn everything that we was teaching, was shot, not directly in the eye, but right here. His face was so swole up, it looked like the skin was not going to stretch any further. It was so bad. But he was the only one who was not in our ceremony. He's the only one that did not listen to all the advice that we was sharing from a military veteran on how to do certain things and how to use your grab bags and to help people and get ready for the mace and things like that. So he didn't have the information that we shared with the other, but every one of them who were in that ceremony, not one of them got shot.
He also didn't have the prayer covering.
And he didn't have the prayer cover. He didn't have any bit of it. He is a good friend, still is today. But at that time, he just wasn't listening to what we needed him to listen to.
Focus.
He wasn't focused. So the that young man was the only one shot. And again, I was the last one taken. I was in the Fort Yates jail on the last of the days when they were coming in. And I even told people they're coming in on this day, March 1st. That's when the military moves. Everybody knows it. Well, military marches. That's,
Now you all know
now
that.
on March, and if you look in history, you're going to see from March that right before that March time, that's when there's more invasions and more military maneuvers. And I knew that, and I told them 3 months ago. I said at 12 o'clock, there's going to be a jet fly right over us. That's when they're coming in. And some of the people who were there didn't make it back or get behind the barricade in time, but they filmed that jet fly over us at 12 o'clock, and they sent that to me. They said, "You told us this was coming." I said, "Yeah, it's here right now." And so I was the last man taken. It took 5 guys to take me in. They maced me down with the orange stuff. I couldn't breathe. There was all of a sudden somebody come by and just wiped my face and took that off. I didn't know who that was, but now I could kind of see. I could breathe again, because at that time I couldn't. My whole face was covered with that orange. I couldn't breathe at all. And somebody come by and wiped my face and walked off, and I could hear the police or the tribal BIA and the federal agents. It is a tribal thing, so we were betrayed by the Lakota people. I want people to know that we were betrayed. All nations were betrayed by the Lakota. All I heard was, how did she get in there? Get her out of here. Keep moving. And that's whenever I was, taken to the back of a vehicle and put in with no water. I'm still trying to breathe. It's so hard to breathe if you've ever been in that situation. But I also had military training and had already been through the gas chamber. So I knew how to control my breathing. I knew that I can get this out with just a little bit of tear, but you got basically keep your eyes shut and maneuver inside to kind of wash your own eyes. Finally, the door was opened, and one of the agents from Washington poured water over my eyes sideways so I could see again. Now, at that time, I didn't know who that person was, but I was introduced later to that person. When I couldn't breathe, I couldn't see. My whole face was covered. I don't know her last name. I mean, I do, but I can't think of it right now. But her first name was Angel. And that was the thing. An angel came and took that away from me whenever I couldn't see and I couldn't breathe. And an angel walked through. And we're still good friends today. We haven't talked much, but anything or anytime, if she ever needed something, just let us know. So I'm in the Fort Yates jail for 4 days. No food, no water. I didn't give my vitals. I didn't get on a weight scale. I didn't sign any papers. I didn't get put into any orange clothing. And I told him, I said, I'm not a prisoner. I'm a captive. And every one of y'all backstabbed us. I had a ceremony in there for Berta Cáceres, a good friend of mine. She was assassinated at that same time. When the military moves, she was assassinated at that same time. So I had a ceremony for her for those 4 days. While I was in there, I did a ceremony for 4 days. All I did was prayed and danced and gave thanks, just for life. I knew I was going to die in there. I was not going to eat. I was thinking I can make it 10 days at least with no food, no water. And whatever happens after that, at least I did what I was supposed to be doing. And I made my peace at that time. And all I asked God to do was not make it hurt. When it's time, you know, just take me, but don't make it hurt. I don't want the hurtness. But I'm ready. I'm ready to go anytime. And a federal agent from Washington flew in. He came to my cell, and you know, he finally, it was a long story, I'll get to that later, but he finally got me out. You know, he walked me through where all the jailers who were, I would say, mean to me, but I also didn't take anything from them. So we had a lot of altercation, especially with the words in that jail. And at the end, they tried to be nice, but I already knew that they were fraud and faked. But that agent got me out of that situation. Now, as soon as I got out, another person picked me up and said, "I need to take you over here to see the youth. They're defeated. They're beat. Everyone left. You were the last one keeping them up. You got taken. They all fell right after that. They're all on this bus over here. I need to take you over there to let them see you, to let them see that you're okay, because they wasn't leaving. They was like, it don't matter. We're gonna stay here, you know." So went to the bus, and I got out of the vehicle that people had brought me in. I could see the youth on the bus, young warriors, strong warriors. They seen it was me. They started coming off that bus, and you know, we all had a good smile, and you know, laughed a little bit and shook each other's hands. And I thanked them for their job, for their duties and what they did, and I still respect them to this day for doing that. But they told me, they said, you know, it's like whenever we're at our lowest point, whenever we feel the most defeated, you always show up and give us more strength. And so I told them that you know, I appreciated everything that they'd done. Not many people can come here to Standing Rock and do what you did. I gave them praise for what they did and how much they helped people there. But I was also having vehicle problems, and I was telling them that you go ahead, you go back, I'll make it back. Don't worry about me. Y'all guys get back, get home safe, and I'll make it there. And they did. They all made it home before I did, or that area. Here's home, but at that time. And but I had set up a celebration for them through the Warrior Society to wait for them. And they welcomed them. They had a big celebration for them and thanked them also, because they did come from that area, but there was nothing set up for them until I called. So they got the celebration. I'm still trying to make it back. The vehicle I got leaving Standing Rock is not in the best shape. And all I said was, just make it home. That's all I asked, is just make it home, because had no other ride, had no other way. And everyone else had already left, so basically on my own. And a couple people said, "Well, we'll go with you." And I said, "All right, well, taking a chance, but let's go." The vehicle's not in the best, but so we all joined together. The other group took off. We took off. We're going slower because we have to watch our speed as far as the vehicle. If you drive a certain speed, it's okay. But if you go faster or slower, it's like, so it was, and I had to be the only one, because I was the only one who knew how to drive it that way. So 3 miles coming in to the reservation area, people kind of let me know that we're on fire. Which I look in the rearview mirror, or the passenger rearview mirror, and I can see smoke coming out of the tailpipe. So I know something's really, really wrong. And so I tell everybody in the vehicle, there's about 4 green lights that we got to go through. Even if it's red, if there's no cars, I'm going through it. If I stop, this car stops. So we come up to the first one, hit that green light, we're good. Come over the hill, the second one, there's a red light and about 3 cars. So I'm like, oh, I'm thinking how I can get around them safely without scaring people that this car just whips around them. And so, but what happened was I just let off the gas a little bit, and that turned green, and those cars started moving at the right time. But I did come up on the tailgate of that one, the last one, but moved up quicker to give me room, and that was just enough for us to step on the gas a little bit and keep going. Come up to that third one, it was a flashing red light, so we could still go through with caution. The fourth one was green, but the house where I was staying still had snow about this high in the driveway because nobody had been shoveling snow there. So I told everybody to hang on because I'm going to have to do a loop to come up that driveway because it's a little up and we're going to hit. So everybody hang on. So everybody's praised till we make that corner. We come up and hit that big hard ice, and you know you hit because it went boom. Everybody's hanging on, and we're still trying to get up that hill. Pulled up into the driveway, backed it up so I could unpack right next to the door, put it in drive so I could level it out, but there's no drive. The car did not move after that. The transmission was completely out.
It got you home.
It got me home. It got me home. It got us home. So I'm home now. As well, I'm at the place where I'm living at that time. Here's home. But so I'm asleep, and I get a phone call, and it's the young man who got shot in the eye. The only one who wasn't in the ceremony, the only one who didn't listen to us. He was the only one harmed in our group. And he called me, and it was about 4 a.m, and I'm saying, hey, how you doing? Because he knows I'm back, and I'm the only one with the missing and murder group. Everyone knows I'm back. They was waiting for me to get back. So he tells me, he says, do you know about Kenny Leaf? I said, no, I don't. I said, I just got back. I mean, I did hear about this before I left, or in a certain conversations, people were talking about this murder. And I said, no, I said, I don't know that much about it, but I've heard about it. And so the young man said, well, do you want to know? And I said, well, do you want to tell me? And he sat back for a minute and said, do you want to know? I said, yes, of course I want to know. If there's something to do with a missing or a murder, yes, I want to know. So he proceeded to tell me about this murder. He had details of who the shooter was, who the people there were, what exactly happened, and where this body was. The young man, and so anyway, he told me everything that was going on. He gave me more details only because one of the people who was involved in this murder was scared of the shooter, and he didn't know what to do. He was petrified, terrified, because he knew that if anything was to get close to this guy being found out, that entire crew would have been killed, because he told them that if anyone tells what went on, that he would personally kill them. So this young man gave me all the details, and the next day I worked as what people would call like a handyman or odds and ends. I don't work with the tribal government, especially in that area. I will be running for chief in my area and council soon, because that needs to be done. But so I'm cutting a tree. A friend of mine, he's a great woodsman, medicine person, traditional person. We talk a lot. He asked for some help to help cut this huge tree. So I went over to help him, not expecting any pay. I was just going to help him. I don't even know if he did pay me. But we on our break, there was a couple of us there. On our break, we started talking about Kenny Leaf, and he asked me about it. He said, "I know you're with the Missing and Murder. Do you know anything about this, or So I sat down and I talked with him, and I told him everything that I knew. I said, this is who the shooter is. This is who was involved. This is what happened to that person, and where the body is. Now, that's more information than anyone has ever given to anybody. And he is a traditional person. He's not with the corporation either. But it trickled down to all the traditional people, to who, you know, all this information was coming from. Not the other person, but it was coming from me, and that they could look up any of these things. And so now people are starting to look for certain things. What happened was, it was over like a $20 cocaine. It was something small, but this young man wanted to kill, and they invited him over to a garage party. There was beer and things like that, as how the gangster society goes and does. But the young man started arguing and saying, "What about that money you owe me?" And guy said, "Well, I don't have it, but you know, I'll get it. Don't worry." To him, it wasn't much. To everybody else, it wasn't much. So the man he owed that $20 to shot him point blank in front of everybody. No one else knew what was going to happen. They just knew that he wanted him to have this guy over here so he could either get into a fight with him or something, just to prove that you can't try to go over me with $20, however that thing is. But so he shot him in the chest. And so now this guy, Kenny Leaf, is yelling, "Whoa, whoa, I'm sorry. I'll get the money. Don't kill me. I got kids. I got a family." And so this man takes a step back and shoots every bullet that is in that gun into this young man and kills him. The rest of the group is as surprised as everyone else is, but they know this guy. They know he's dangerous. And so they went and helped him dismantle the body and burn it and bury it. I also had that information in those locations. So that young man, once all the information was getting out, started hunting his own crew. He wanted to find out who talked. And everyone knew that he was going to kill them. Some of them went to the tribal, which was, they were put in jail. They said for their protection, but we'll get to that. Some of them left the state. They went into running, went into hiding, because they feared this young man. And I knew this young man a long time ago, and he was a good kid at that time. I knew his father, his stepmother, but I didn't know his biological mother. Actually, his father still owes me $20, I think. So, but so anyway, this young man is hunting his own crew. He's trying to find out who's got the information, who's telling. His crew is leaving state. They're getting out of the way. They're like, this guy's crazy. He will kill you. He'll kill us. So they're all hiding. They're going house to house until they can find a way into another safe location, another state, before they could leave. And so now this guy also is starting to think about running. He's thinking about getting into the mountains and kind of letting things die over and blow over and come back later, or go another place. But he needs some certain equipment to survive up there. So he goes to another man's house and asks to borrow the generator, because he's going to need that. The older man says, "No, I'm not going to give you my generator." So that young man pulls his weapon out and kills him and takes the generator. I get another phone call. He just killed again. It's over a generator. And so this guy's just out of control. He's killing anybody evil. I mean, he has changed so much. There was actually a newspaper article about him, because on the run, he would go over the border, come back, because they have dual citizenship there. So he could go over there, he's safe. Go over there, he's safe. Go over there. He kept doing that. He would get arrested on misdemeanor things or small things, but was never convicted. And this was in one of the newspapers there. And the reporter was saying, why is this young man with all these arrests never been convicted? Well, it turned out that this young man's biological mother was the tribal's judge, the tribe's judge, which is over the police, which has, you know, they can hire and fire and they can kill. You have to understand, these are a group of killers. That's all they are, thieves and robbers and killers. So the mother was talking with the other corrupt government officials and the next county of, I'll wash your back, you wash mine, make sure my kid don't get convicted. And that was the big problem there. But I know all this, and I'm giving all the information out of who's doing what, so they know who's sharing this information. That next night, I go to a friend's house, and I usually cut through the forest, you know, because that gives me cover. I've always been that way. You know, I don't like to be exposed unless I have to be. That's still the way we do it today, and still the way that we track. But after I was through talking with him for a while, and we talked as friends, I started walking down. This time I was going to take the main road out and instead of cutting through the brush. But as soon as I got to that road and I looked, there was 3 tribal security police vehicles sitting right across my house, or where I was staying at that time. So I backed up and went back through the wood line and got into the place I was staying without being seen. They didn't know if I was in or out of the house, even though they were using the thermals. I knew that they had those thermals because I've seen them before, so they were using the house. And so eventually they knew I was in there. Now, this is a major road. It's got trucks, cars, tourists, very busy road. On this night, there was no traffic. I talked to some warriors on the phone. They said they shut down the road on this side and on that side of you. There was a VFW right outside my window in the next parking lot. I could see it from the top. There was tribal security police driving in and out around there. And when it got dark, and since I've been doing this stuff for a long time, I knew how to walk in my house with no lights. I knew where every creek was, every sound, and I always left just a little sliver in each blind so that I could look out, but nobody could look in. So I'm doing my rounds because I know I'm looking at tribals across the street. I'm looking every shadow, which we teach shadow language. I know every bush and everything. And then I catch a shadow walking through the brush. And I have my crossbow. And so I get my crossbow. I had the window just barely open. And I have it. And I could have put that arrow right in that person's ear. But I was looking at it and I could tell it was someone stupid. You know, it's some young police tribal
Pawn.
pawn that didn't know. They think that they have the only advantage, but he didn't know that I had him in my sights and I could have took him out anytime I wanted to. But I'm also on the phone with some warriors. I talked to them. I said, they're here, they're around. And they said, okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to come get you in the morning. We all know that they have shift change at 7 o'clock. So at 6:45, they said, just make it through the night. Make sure, you know, don't be shooting, you know, don't start the war. You know, just make it till morning. And so right about 6:45, I'm still watching, wide awake, paying attention. The 3 tribal security police vehicles start leaving. As soon as that happens, this white vehicle pulls up into the yard, backs in, pops their trunk open, and comes to the door. But I'm already prepared, got everything ready, and we can start throwing our gear in. And about 7:03, we're already hitting the road. Tribals came back later and set up again, is what I was told. They didn't know that we had already bugged out. I did have a friend who is still a millionaire to this day, but I don't have that connections with them anymore. But they were helping us through Standing Rock and things like that. But they also said if you, because they knew what we were doing, they knew that we're always in some kind of danger. So they also said that we have a house the next town over. Well, it's about 30 miles. There's a house there. You can go there anytime you need it and just let us know. So I made that phone call. I said, I'm en route. So they knew what I was talking about. So they said, okay, we're going to have someone go open that house up. There's food in the fridge. There's also a Jeep vehicle. The keys are in there also if you need that. I said, I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna stay a day and I'm gonna head straight to you. And then I need to get to Oklahoma. And so my friends helped me that way. They got me out. The Warriors, it was the Warrior Society who planned this out and got me out. So we were being hunted there. And then when I was at the other house, the next day I went and seen our friend, who they're millionaires. I told them that I need to get to California. And that's, well, they were asking me what I was doing now. I said, well, I got to go to Oklahoma. I'm going to try to catch a bus, get out to California and talk to the premier presenter of the Aztec Sunstone. Because I know all the other stones, but I could only see the front of the stone and I didn't understand that one yet. So I need to get there so I can understand what the Aztec Sunstone is about. My friend said, instead of taking a bus, I'll fly you out there. And so I mentioned that I don't have the proper ID. I have to go to Oklahoma. I can get on a plane there and fly out. I wasn't able to fly back. I had to take a different route because of the ID was not it wasn't up to the Real Act or Real ID Act or that stamp yet where they monitor you. So I thank them for all their help and everything. I left the vehicle with them. It was theirs. And they sent me on my way with some funds, food, and that I had a plane ticket once I got to Oklahoma. I was going to go and meet a man. His name is Masatson. I can't think of his last name, but he is a premier presenter of the Aztec Sunstone. And this is what we're talking about. Now, when I got there, and you have to understand that I've been doing a lot of traveling. I'd already learned about hieroglyphs, symbols, ancient languages, manuscripts. I was deciphering the Fibonacci sequence. I deciphered of course, the Aztec Sunstone, the Egyptian Dendron Zodiac, the map of the universe, the Ojibwe sky map, the Voynich. And now I was coming to look at this tablet, the stone tablet, because I didn't understand it, but I understood everything else. So I was needing to know this, so I knew every ancient hieroglyph. I wanted to know everything about every stone tablet, copper tablet, manuscript, anything I could get my hands on, I was learning. So it already formed the story, The Legend of Tom. And that's also in the beginning of the DVD, and that's also in the beginning of the book. With that story will help you decipher any stone tablet, any history, any ancient manuscript. The Legend of Tom is a key to decipher that. Without knowing the Legend of Tom, which is in the front of the book and in the movie or the film, the documentary, you're not able to decipher this. But if you've been with this group for a while, we've went over it many times, and if you got the book or the documentary, you know the story. So I fly to California. This is also, and if you remember, Julian Rodriguez, he's part of the, well, he's head of the AIM in his area. I get in contact with him and tell him that the person I'm meeting has been delayed in Mexico. He couldn't get through the border at that time, even though he had the credentials, or the passport, not the credentials, but the passport. But he was still being detained and held up, and he didn't know when he would be released to come through, which took about a week. So so I called Julian and said, you know, oh, no. Actually, it was another friend who called another friend who had a sister who actually lived in that town and would pick us up and take care of us for that moment. So I called Julian while I'm at their home and told him I'm going to wait. I don't want to hang out with people I don't know, even though they were nice and hospitable. We had great conversations. It was just that it was a single woman, and I didn't want to be there. I'd rather be with the guys, you know, and doing what we do. So Julian called back. He said, I'll come get you. And so I stayed with him, and I still thank you for all that, Julian. So after that, I had to make my way to a place called Martinez, California. And this is right when the fires are at Martinez, California. And I'm going into the fire to get this information. And people are going, you're going there? That they're on fire. Why are you? I said, well, I have to go. That's where the information is. So he finally said, okay, I'm over the border. I'm at home. Anytime you can make it here. So I catch these trains and shuttles and make my way there and finally make it there. I meet with him, and he starts explaining the front of the Aztec Sunstone. And he starts explaining the Aztec Sunstones of the Mayan count, the moon system, the portals, the animals, the eagle symbol, which is above and watches. This is where the predator is. The butterfly is in there, and the butterfly is the symbol for change or mutation. The butterfly is that symbol. So I'm talking with the premier presenter, Masatsu, and he's explaining the dates and the times and how they work and how they're interchangeable. One goes this way, one goes that way, one goes this way, and how you line them up and the dates and times and where we're at right now on the Aztec Sunstone. But we're also talking about how this is what the people see. Oops, sorry. This is what the people see on the Aztec Sunstone. He goes, but what people don't see, what people don't know, is what's written on the side of the wheel. And if you go to Mexico City, go to the museum, go and look on the side of the wheel. Don't look here. Oh, sorry. Don't look here. Look on the side. The person, the curator there, may ask you questions. Don't answer those questions. Just say that you were curious and you wanted to see if there's something on the side.
No habla.
No habla en español. And once you get there and you see on that side, you're going to see exactly what we're talking about, but nobody else, and not many people even know that it's on the side. And all these people were talking about Bigfoot experts. You have to know this stuff to be an expert. You have to know the hieroglyphs, the symbols, the ancient languages, the ancient history or the true history to decipher correctly. And so the young man or the premier teacher brings out the symbols, but they're on a computer. We got a laptop computer. He's got it flipped up. He showed me about the Aztec Sunstone, the front first, and it's putting this symbol is for this. This symbol is a moon symbol. This symbol is for the Mayan count. This symbol is for the butterfly. This symbol is for the eagle. This symbol is for the fall equinox. This is for the solstice. This is how this works. This is how this turns, and this is how this goes. So I'm learning now. I said, okay, well, it's a key. Okay, I get that. It's talk about portals and doors. Okay. I said, but you know, is that what it's about? Because you know, that doesn't look like much. I mean, you just tell us that when these dates and portals open up, which I know those times and dates. So it's nothing new to me. But then he flips his program, and then all of a sudden this other program pops up, which has this. And each of these symbols are being put on the screen. This symbol is this. This symbol is that. But all the symbols are telling, or all that he is telling me, is the name of the symbol. He said, this is the symbol for rain. This is the symbol for this. This is, and so when it finally lined out, I knew exactly what the Aztec Sunstone was. The Aztec Sunstone is the legend of time. The Aztec Sunstone is the Egyptian Dendra Zodiac, the map of the universe. It's the same knowledge, the same information, just shared in a different way. And that's like lead tracker and myself. I'll say something a certain way, and she'll say, well, that's in the Bible. This is how it said here. Like I would say energy body. In the Bible, it says spiritual body. It's just taught in a different way, just like the languages and the symbols and the inscriptions around the world. It's the same story, the same information. It's just taught differently. That's all it is. We're supposed to know this information. But so the premier, as soon as I see it laid out, I knew exactly what the Aztec Sunstone was. It is the legend of time. So without him finishing, I flipped my little laptop open, the very rugged, heavy at that time, because it was a free one someone gave me. And so, but at least I could write on it. We didn't have internet or anything like that. But so I sit down and I start typing, and I typed 21 pages of information about the Aztec Sunstone. That's also the fourth book that I wrote. It's called The Aztec Sun. No, it's called The Completion of Time, The Aztec Sunstone Deciphered. And that was the fourth book that I wrote. So he's watching me, and I'm just typing. And I know the Fibonacci sequence. I put the numbers in there, and I left the information to where he could understand it. And when I got through with those 21 pages, he said, I didn't give you that much information. How did you write 21 pages? I said, I know the story. Once I seen the inscriptions, I knew exactly what it was. But I'm going to leave this information here with you so that you do it correctly. Now, one thing that you'll see in California, you're going to see the Aztec Sunstone. It's in San Francisco, I believe, and he was the one who painted it or had it painted on like a mural on the side of a wall. They have a celebration every year. But he didn't have the information that I gave him before that. So if you want to read the Aztec Sunstone correctly, just like the map of the universe or the Egyptian Dendra Zodiac, you have to turn it upside down and backwards. And we talked about that. That's also in the Legend of Time. It's a key. It deciphers. It tells you exactly what to do. Like with these maps, you have to read them upside down and backwards.
There's a
Now,
verse in the Bible too about they turn everything upside down and backwards. I don't remember the name of it, but it's in there.
it's in the Bible. It's just told a different way. The information is worldwide. It's been shared in every country, every continent. It's just that it's been put in hieroglyphs, or as the secrets are for you not to know, so that you're prey at the end. So if you have that book, or if you have the DVD, you understand the Legend of Time. The very first, and like I said, we don't have our stream up yet, but as soon as we can get that done, as soon as we get the funds to do that, we'll have it back up, and then you'll see all these inscriptions as big as this whole screen here. But today we're going to have to do the best we can, and I'm going to walk you through this. But if you have that book or that DVD, you know this story. Now, this is the first inscription. I'm going to try to make sure I might have to stand up. I'm going to try to do this to where everyone can see. Bigfoot shirt. But these first two inscriptions here. Now this is the very first two inscriptions on the top. This right here, this is a spider. This is a symbol for a spider, and it's called the Aztec sun god. It's also called the second sun. See if I can get that up there to you. Now, maybe I have to just get down like this. Hey, it's okay. So it's in the book also, in the story, Legend of Time. But that first symbol, you see that it's a yellow being. Let me get this up here a little closer. Right here. Now that is a yellow being. The young boy in that is called the man-child. Now, the Legend of Time, it talks about the spider coming in, attacking, and piercing the left eye of Earth, or the left eye of the man-child being, which is called Earth. It's in the Legend of Time. It's in also the documentary. So if you have that book, and it's also in the new book, which we're going to have a live book signing event coming up in about 4 days. So if you can wait till then, we'll sign it on air. But that creature is a spider. It's called the sun god, or the second sun. It looks just like the sun, and spiders can make a light to make you think it's the sun. And it's big. I'm talking planet size, bigger than planet size. I'm not talking spider or 10-foot spider or something like that. I'm talking as big as a planet. All the planets are have been captured at this time. Earth is the last stronghold. We are the last hope. That's why all the animals are here. So in that story, we talk about the left eye being pierced. Now, when that left eye is being pierced, that's also when the spider DNA is injecting the predator DNA into our system, into all the animals, into all the fish, into all the birds. The Legend of Time explains that story. So the left eye is pierced. I'm going to show you that hieroglyph again, but you're going to see like a hand. It's a hand, It's got a bone. You'll see it. But if you're looking, you're going to see that DNA because it's a yellow hand coming in. And you have to remember, everything yellow has to do with the spider. The red blood has to do with us. So this DNA is being injected into our people and our world, our animals. Show it to you again. Right here. See if I can get a little closer. Now you can see a little hand right there. That is the symbol for creatividad. And you'll see on here, these sections say creatividad, actividad, and reflection. Now every inscription, every symbol has, because like I said, let me tell you a quick thing, that the way you also decipher the Egyptian Dendro Zodiac is you start with the appendage. And I was showing some people that before, but it's also on my page. There's an appendage in the top. If you're looking like it, holding it up like north, it's right here at a 45-degree angle, and that's exactly where the spider is today. And I've seen that appendage in the sky. They even have a picture of that. I'm not sure if I have it on here yet, but in the story, you know, when the flood came and the spiders came through, they were called comets at that time. This is in the story, the Legend of Time. If you have the book, you understand what we're talking about. If you don't, we do need to get you that. But the reason it starts off serpent, ram. If anybody has the Egyptian Dendro Zodiac and you go take a picture of this, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But where that red appendage is, and it's in that Egyptian Dendro Zodiac on the outside, about 11:45 on the, if it was a clock, it's right there. You're gonna see just an appendage. That's the only thing you can see because it's outside the filament, the spider is, but the appendage has pierced into the left eye of the man-child earth being. And at this time, the reason it goes appendage, serpent, ram, bird, fish, and then all the other animals is because when the attack happened, when the spiders came through, they were called comets and pillars at that time. So if you go back in history and change spider into the word comets, pillars, giants, gods, it'll make sense. It won't make sense if you use the word spider because it's not in there. It's only used now. The reason is goes the appendage, serpent, ram, bird, fish, is because above us is the Milky Way. So they had to come through the Milky Way, which is in the story, the Legend of Time, of when the serpent was rolled over and then the first appendage came over. And it's in the story if you have the book or the documentary. So it came through with serpent or reptilian DNA. And that's why they have the symbol of the serpents on a mantle or a pedestal, is because it's talking about the spider came through with the serpent DNA and started to eat people here, which caused the flood. And they landed around the African continent. And that's why we're separated right there. And the waters and the floods rose up towards Iran. That's also why Iran is called Iran today, because they all ran to the highest mountain. At that time, that's what it was. Everyone ran there to that highest mountain. Now, the next symbol you're going to see is after the serpent is the ram. Now, the reason the ram is the next one after the serpent, because the spiders coming in with the serpent DNA coming into Earth, causing the flood. Everything's going up. Everybody's running to the mountains. The reason the ram is the next symbol up there is because the rams were already in the mountains. So now they're being eaten. That DNA has been transferred. This is where the god Baal comes from. All this eating. And what a spider does is whatever it eats, it takes that DNA and produces it another predator in the eggs. So that's where you get the bell spider, the bird spider, the wolf spider, tarantulas, all the different varieties is because of the food that it eats. And that's where you get a flying spider, whatever. But whatever a spider eats, that DNA is produced into the eggs. And this is also why they say that some people were created from death. So on this symbol, I want you to also look, because you have to understand the spiders that are coming through. These are gigantic spiders, nothing like we've ever seen before. They're still there. When that veil is lifted and those portals are open, they're coming through again. And be prepared. That's why we're preparing now. But if you look at these symbols, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. Let me put it back up one more time. Now, here is the sun god, the spider, that's piercing the left eye of the man-child being, which is getting into the DNA of man. This is blood of man being formed into another. But if you look underneath it, it tells you the first combination that was also eating or eaten with this first invasion. And once it's eaten, it becomes a predator. There's nothing good that comes from the spider. It's all predator. It's just predator DNA. Now, on this, it talks about the entrance, the blood, everything that was consumed at the beginning. So now this is being pierced. Now man's DNA is being eaten and being injected into. So as we move to the next hieroglyph, now it's going to start getting easier to read. Just got to know what we're looking at. Now here in the next one, we have the spider, but it's a little red now because it's ingesting the blood from man. It's eating all these animals at the same time, and it's getting into the heart or the blood of man. Here you have the serpent, which we talked about the serpent. This is the man, the skeleton, the man. Here is the ram or the ground animal. And here is the bird. You're going to find that same configuration on the Egyptian Dinder Zodiac. Serpent, bird, or ram, or man, serpent, ram, serpent, man, because we come down, first thing they was eating was us. Serpent, man, ram, land animal, and bird. Now, also the reason that configuration is that way is because when the spiders were eating the rams and man and producing offspring, which were predators, and this is where the first Bigfoots came from, but they didn't look like us because there was not enough DNA in there. It was just little bits of DNA used with the spider's DNA mixed with all the animal DNA. So right now we're getting like the god ball, the ram man with the tail, the hooves, all a predator. It eats children. It craves children. That's what its offerings and sacrifices are for, is to eat children and blood. And so you can see right here that now the reason the ram's reading first and man. Now the next hieroglyph is let's see, there's the ram, and then there's the bird, and then there's the fish. Now when the waters came up, the flooding, everyone drowned. These creatures are eating everything. This is also why you're going to find in caves and things like that, you're going to find bones of animals, birds, fish, everything, because everyone ran for cover. They were getting in caves, but they got in caves that did not have outlets. So you're going to find a whole nest of bones of different animals. Even man will be in there that was eaten because they were trapped, but they were looking for a place to run to. Now, the reason the birds are next on that Egyptian hieroglyph is because when the water started receding, the birds were looking for land. So the birds flew back to the land, to where I ran, highest mountain. So when the birds flew back, the spiders ate them too. Now, if you look at the Egyptian Dinder Zodiac and the very next inscription, or that symbol, you're going to see a female or a person with wings on their back sitting there, because that DNA has been eaten and put into the mix. There's also a little podium or a pedestal of a pair of wings. And if you go there and look at it, you'll see that. Now, as the waters receded and all the birds were being eaten, any bird that landed got eaten. We did have animals over here, what people call the United States now. But over there at that time, devastation. No sun, no grass. That's why there's so much desert over there. It's all sea, and there's inlet seas there also because of this catastrophe. Now, when the waters receded and all the birds were eaten, now the spiders are starting to go into the water. They're still looking for food. They're eating the fish, but that DNA is also being mixed. And that's where, if you see on that next pedestal, you're going to see that they're carrying water, but it's going to be ripples, but that's actually DNA of the ocean. There'll be a alligator snouted person there, which that is the god Sobe, like the drink, S-O-B-E, like the drink. And that is a man eater. Just like the word Pepsi, that's Apep or Pepsi, which is a green man-eating dragon. That's what Pepsi's about. So now we're going to move to the next hieroglyph after this one. Because now, make sure everybody can see it. Let's see. Okay. Okay, now the configuration of what we just talked about. Step for step, everything we just talked about, and the exact configuration, the exact thing of serpent, man, land animal, and bird. So now we're getting into the fish and all this, and you're going to see a different tail on this one. Now we're getting into the fish DNA. But also, this creature is starting to get into the spiritual body of man. And that's man in a spiritual state. And this injection is still happening. So it's not just injecting the predator DNA into the physical, it's getting into the spiritual of our people. This is also why when a predator Bigfoot kills something, it's not just going to eat and drink the blood. It wants the spiritual too. And if you look at videos, if you heard people talk about this, that predator Bigfoot will rip that head off, just like the movie Predator. And it's even in the movie Predator, that it will hold that head up and go eye to eye and try to capture your soul or your spirit. And that goes into that predator Bigfoot, which is also that DNA will go into its next offspring. The tracker is going to show a picture here. Now, this is a Bigfoot that we caught, and it's also, this Bigfoot is also in the documentary. But this is a short-snouted alligator-looking Bigfoot hybrid.
So when you hear about lizard people and frog people.
Yep. So any configuration you can think of is here. And that's why we're tracking. We don't look just for Bigfoot footprints. We look for hooves. We look for little holes. We look for webbed feet. We look for claws. And that's also in the documentary of what we talk about on how we use baseline and what we're looking for. So we're not looking, and Bigfoots have different configurations. They have chicken legs, or bird legs, Bigfoot body, or they got a Bigfoot body and they've got hooves. Some Bigfoots got wings. Some Bigfoots got tails, multiple eyes, multiple hearts, multiple stomachs, all that. That's also in the documentary, and we talk about that. So the next thing we're doing, or what it's doing, is getting into the spirituality. And Bigfoots will do that if you pay attention. We don't want you anywhere near Bigfoots because they want not only your blood, not only your DNA and your flesh, they want the spirit, they want the soul, and they know it's there. And so now we're not only having man into the mixture, we're also getting animals, different kind of animals in the mixture. And this is called the fork-tongued jaguar. And these also create like the chupacabra, the wendigo, and things like that, the more animal types. But there's also the Bigfoot type, the Bigfoot or the man-like or mankind. It is not us. It is kind of like us, like mankind, but it's not us. It's kind of like us, but it's not us. So now in this next hieroglyph, the piercing is still happening, but we're also in, see, this is creatividad. This is the actividad. This is the reflection and the actividad again. Now, what that means is this is where all the eating took place. And when you or Bigfoots and things like that create, they eat. That's why it's called creatividad, because what they eat, they're going to produce. So they're creating, not like God. It's not like that kind of creation. It's a formation of all these things binded together by the spider squatch DNA. So it's into our, now also, let me show you this real fast. Right underneath my finger. Let me point with this finger. Right here, you can see it's, let me stand up. So if you can see right here, I'm going to get as close as I can. This is also the symbol of that same hand, which is the same one as this hand. Only this hand now is elongated. It's connected with man and animal and predator. Now that little hump in the middle, that's the spider squatch DNA binding. It's called what's that little hump in the foot?
The mid-tarsal break.
Yeah, the mid-tarsal break. That's the separation. That's animal, man, and the binding. Spider squash DNA is what we coined the term. But in this hieroglyph right here, this next one, you see an elongated hand. This is the long hand, and Bigfoots even have the mid-tarsal in their hands also. Comes here, it's an extra here, and then the front comes in. And that's why they have real long hands also. But also, again, these animals, there's different kind of animals also being produced. Now, the creativity is the eating and the mixing of the DNA. The activity is when it's born or when it's birthed, when it comes from its egg or through the birth. Some do, some don't. That's the activity. That's its moving. That's its getting out kind of in the world. This is the reflection, and that reflection is seeing. It's an offspring. It kind of looks like the Bigfoots. It kind of looks like the predators. It kind of looks like man. Kind of looks like a bear. Kind of looks like a pig.
Mimic.
A mimic. It's just a reflection. And then you have the activity of that reflection. Now this thing is eating itself, eating other things. It's starting to produce. It's starting to eat anything it can get its hands on.
The Bible would call them abominations.
The Bible would call them abominations. And they are abominations. Now, we can also see that the predator here, is still injecting, but now it's into the heart. It's into the soul. It's into everything. And this was a tough time and a hard time for a lot of people and a lot of our people, because now this creature has produced something that all of our tribes call, if you look in history, in ancient history, not those young ones, not those young people of today or some of those elders of today who don't know this. And if you get information or take advice from any Indian, ask them if they can read the hieroglyphs and if they know the true history of Earth. If they don't listen to them. Get away from them. They don't know. They're going to regurgitate a story that they heard from someone who come from somewhere else. Those stories don't come from us. We know they're predators. So now we're coming back into another time, back into creativity again. Now these are equinoxes and these are solstices. So when the equinox opens up, when that portal door opens up, spiders come in and they start eating everything, and then they start producing eggs. They start producing younger ones. Now, if you have this, or if you can look this up, you're gonna have to look at their teeth and their feet and things like that, if they got tails and things like that, because this thing is eating and producing new man-like creatures, but they're also producing distorted looking creatures as animals and predators. Now this is the creativity area. And that's the front of the Aztec Sunstone. That's what the front is talking about, the dates and times of portals. Those, and we've been telling people this for the longest time, equinoxes, solstices, they have portals. They're open portals. Like the summer solstice is called the Gate of Souls. The winter solstice is called the Gate of God. Then you have the fall and equinox solstices, equinoxes. Those are portal times and portal dates. They are real. They do open up. They did. until we found out all this information. And now we have ceremonies to keep those doors closed. We allow the good energies to come through, but if we find a portal anywhere, we shut them down. And Lee Tracker and myself had shut one down in some property in Texas. But I've been to New York and shut down the Gate of Ball in New York City. I believe that was actually almost on Columbus Day that I did that a couple years back. But if you remember, there was a big ark in New York. They wanted to put it at Times Square, but they couldn't do it there, so they put it by the police station, that's where we were, and we had that ceremony to close that gate, the Gate of Ball. We did not and never will allow that to be here. So now these creatures are back again. The equinox door is open. Now remember, this creativity are all on the equinoxes and solstices. This is when those doors come open, and you have to understand that these spiders, these predators, are waiting just like a spider will at your front door. Wherever you're not looking, they're going to be. Once you open that door, they're going to get in as quick as they can to eat as much as they can and to get whatever they can. And spiders will do this. If you go outside, look at your front door, back door, look around, you're going to find spiders, or around those windows that you open constantly. They're going to be there waiting for the opportunity to get in. Same way the Bigfoots are. They have the same mentality, the same predator DNA. So now these creatures are producing offspring, and it's into the blood, it's into the heart, into the soul. These things are being produced. They're not like us. They never will be. They don't have our structure or DNA, but they do get our DNA through the ingestion of eating us. And that's why you're never going to get two perfect samples. You're never going to get two Bigfoots or predators that look exactly alike. There's multiple DNAs in there, and whatever they eat has to go through multiple DNAs. So you could have a bird fish or a man bear pig or a wolf man or those things. They could have hooves, claws, any configuration you could think of. That's what a Bigfoot is. And when we see people say, "Oh, well, that's not a Bigfoot," that's a hybrid of a Bigfoot. It may not look exactly like Harry and Henderson, but that's a hybrid of a Bigfoot. Every predator is a hybrid. So so they're back, and it shows right here that it's an evolution. The more they eat, the more they become more man-like. The more of us they eat, the more man-like they look like us. And they use that to get closer to us, to eat more of us. So don't be gifting, don't be trying to befriend these things. Their only purpose is to consume everything on earth. And we'll have to do another one after this, because a lot of people don't understand that, but it's also in the Egyptian hieroglyph. It's also in the Aztec, and we'll get to that. So now it's a creativity. These things are eating every time, everything when those doors open. We got to keep those ceremonies up. We got to keep our spirituality up. We got to keep praying. We have to make sure that it is our responsibility to keep these predators out. It is our responsibility to keep each other safe. And we have to depend on each other, because there are times, there's so many people who don't know about this that are going to be overran and going to be preyed. It's unbelievable how many people resist knowing what they need to know. So here in this next part, so it's creating, it's making more offspring. It's making more offspring right here. Now no two is going to look alike. You're going to have a hairless Bigfoot. They're called rakes, or You can see their skin. They look kind of like people, but they're not. They're only a predator. But so this thing is producing, it's making, it's configuring, it's forming. It needs a human-like form to be a better predator, to get to us and to trick us into thinking it's kind of like man or maybe a human, but it's not. They're not people. They're predators. It's just a form or a configuration of all these DNAs together, plus the structure of us to get closer to us. Now, this next hieroglyph, it is starting to produce. It's starting to change everything. It's starting to be more man-like. In the beginning, it was like a blob, and then it started forming. And then with the animal DNA, it started looking like animals, and the ball god. Then you have the crocodile man head. You have the fish god, Dagon or Dragon, or to drag on land, or to come on land. You have Sobi, Apep. You have all these man-eating gods forming, becoming more man-like. But in this next hieroglyph, after these produces happen, the very next hieroglyph produces the very first predator Bigfoot. And if you look at it, it's got claws, it's got fangs, it's got hoofed feet, and it's climbing. It also has serpent DNA also. And the climbing part, or the air part, is the symbol for the bird. Now, we was just going to go to this point tonight. We was going to show you that the Bigfoot is in the Aztec Sunstone. The same configuration is in the Egyptian Dinger Zodiac. We'll have to explain the map of the universe at another time, but you can put that right on top of here and find the same exact location of everything. The eye in the sky is what they're called also, these Bigfoots. But these Bigfoots formed through the cosmic spider DNA that came through the great serpent, or the Milky Way, came into our world by piercing the filament, and that appendage is still there. And I got a picture of that, and I can show it next time whenever we get our system up. That the configuration of all the animals produce the very first Bigfoot. And it's a predator. It's nothing but a predator. It comes from all the animals' DNA mixed with the binding of the spider squatch DNA. The binding, and that is the spider DNA. The one that is called unknown, the one that the scientists can't figure out. We're telling you exactly what it is. It's a spider binding DNA. It's going to always change. You're never going to get the same DNA. Why? Because the spider, once it eats something, it can eat a bird over here, that DNA will be different. You can eat a frog over here, that DNA is going to be different. They can eat a man with O blood type, different. Man with B type, man with AB, a black man, white man, whatever it eats, it's going to produce, but it's going to never produce two of the same. And it's always going to be a predator, no matter what. It is a predator. It's here to hunt, it's here to eat, and to consume all life. This also has to do with the last man standing and what is called the end game. All this is information that we hope you ingest, and this is just the beginning of this. We can go in deeper at a later time, but we just wanted to show you where the Bigfoot is in the Aztec Sunstone. Remember, it's not in the front, it's on the side. If people can't tell you what's on the front, they sure can't tell you what's on the side. So this information is correct. Not many people has ever, if I don't know anyone besides us who's deciphered this. There are, of course, people in the world who have deciphered this. They're just not giving the information to the general public. They don't want no one to know that this predator is amongst us and it has multiplied. There are Bigfoot everywhere. These predators are everywhere. Every city, state, town, country, mountain, lake, camping area, roadside stops. They're everywhere now. They've multiplied in such a manner that it's basically uncontrollable. And people are going to be overran. They're never alone. They're always in packs, or troops is what we call them. They're always hunting. They're always watching your homes, your children. They're looking for any opportunity to eat, to get what they want. Blood, DNA, flesh, and the spiritual body that's inside. They want it all. So we're gonna in this lesson tonight, we will be going over the comments. We can answer your questions if you have questions about the Aztec Sunstone. And Lead Tracker E does the comments, so we're gonna ask Lead Tracker E to go over the comments, and we will get to your questions if you have any. But remember, this is a teaching channel. We're here to share this information with that you don't have, and I believe only our trackers know this. I haven't ran into any other research group or Bigfoot group page or anyone who has information. None of them has ever given you this information. I can guarantee you that. This is the only channel where you're going to find information that no one else has. This is why we are called the Bigfoot experts. We can show you the origin, the DNA, where it comes from. We can show you in the books. We can show you in the stones, copper tablets, manuscripts. We're the only ones who can do that. The rest, they don't have this information. So when people say that we're not the Bigfoot experts, we always say, well, prove us wrong. Bring us your information. Bring us your intelligence. And say what you got. But if you don't know this is basic stuff. I mean, it is advanced. It's advanced, but the people here, once we go over this and we understand it, it's common knowledge. It's easy knowledge to know. We just got to know what the symbols are and what they mean, where they go, and what the configurations are. And we're sharing that here with you tonight. The only people in the world who's going to share this with you. No one else, the people who do know, will not share this with you. I'm not talking about the groups, the Bigfoot groups. They don't know this. I'm talking about the people like the Vatican and places like that. They have this information. You don't have this information for a reason. We're the only ones who's going to share it with you. We got more to share with you in the future. So stay with our channel. We're only here to give this information to you. We already know this information, but it doesn't do us any good to hold it back from you. That's why we share it freely for you and to you. But also, again, if you can get the book, Predator Bigfoot and the Spiritual Warrior's Path, we will be having a live book signing. That's where we're going to write your name. If you want us to write something, we're going to write that exactly the way you want it. But if we know you, we're going to inscribe it because we do appreciate you. And I want to thank everybody tonight. We're going to go over the comments. And if there's any questions, we will get to those and we will answer them. I have to get off the ground now.
He did get a pillow for his knees about halfway through.
About halfway.
Still scrolling. There's a couple of messages on here that deleted, but we didn't delete them. I couldn't see them on my phone in the chat, but I could see them rolling up on, you know, where we're logged in. And both had to do with anybody making any kind of comment about the government. Jim, we'll start back with where Jim came in. Let's start there. That we'll keep
I go
going.
back with it.
Go back further. How to get bigger? Good.
I don't know. There's Papa.
Oh, okay. We did that
Okay.
right around there.
Papa and T-Dog. Okay, we got there. I know for sure.
New arches coming
Endorsed.
out.
Okay.
Okay, Life's Adventures here.
This is where
He's
Lots
already,
of Adventures came in.
uh-huh.
Says good evening and good evening, Jim.
He's already gone.
Oh, okay, okay.
He stayed for most of it. Marquetta's here.
Marquetta. Yes.
Tracker C says, now lead horse of the standing feather.
Thank you, Tracker C. Tracker C is a great friend too.
More greetings. Marquetta says, like my grandma used to say, all money ain't good money. That's right.
That's right. Thank you, Marquetta.
What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?
Yeah, and I would, if I took that money, I could not be here right now sharing this information with you. I would have kept my part of that contract, and there's no telling what I'd be doing right now. But
You probably wouldn't even be here.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't even be right here.
You wouldn't be covered.
I wouldn't be covered. I wouldn't be helping nobody.
Billy Cobb, hi Billy, says you're rich in family and love and money can't buy that. That's exactly right.
Thank you, Billy. Lots of
He
friends,
gets it.
lots of great friends too.
Darcy says, yes, Billy, I agree. Judy says, absolutely right, Billy. Darcy says, yes, Marquetta, your grandmother is correct.
Mhm.
Darcy says, that's horrible, talking about the things up there.
Mhm.
Scott says, a very wise woman, Marquetta. Marquetta says, she taught me a lot. Yes, she was very wise. Jim says, blood money is not money at all. It's selling your soul. That's absolutely right.
You're correct, Jim.
Marquetta says exactly to Jim. Tracker C says the one world order doesn't want us to know these truths. That's right.
Oh,
Jeremy
yeah.
says, Jeremy enters the room and greets everyone. Hey, Jeremy.
How are you doing, Jeremy? Good to hear from you.
Always. More greetings. I'm going to scroll past the greetings. Darcy says Big Pharma would do anything to shut that down when you were trying to get that serum.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why we had to have 4 different groups meet, or we was going to meet, and everybody's going to go through California, Texas, you know, wherever they could get back.
If you can't go through, you go around.
Yeah, at least one of us was going to make it back.
Jeremy says this government always played dirty pool. Yeah, every government, but yep, this one too. Jim says the microwave fryer is attached to a truck and it shoots about 2,500 yards. It's only supposed to defer you, but not hurt you. But of course, the government doesn't know what defer means, right?
You're right. You're right. And they were out to hurt people.
Jeremy, clearly. Jeremy says, I know the tech. Darcy says the government is not to be trusted, but I'm preaching to the choir. I guess they did let that through for a little while, though, Darcy.
I think it bleeped off.
It disappeared, yeah. But I guess they decided everybody knows that. Might as well let it go through. Jim says, I wish I knew about the standoff mercenary groups I'm familiar with. I'm not affiliated, but I do know some of them. I could probably got them the backup. But of course, I know what that was a while ago. Kayla
Garza.
Glad to see you. If you're still in here, if you're not, we get it. She's not been feeling well.
Have we been on long? I don't know.
We're at 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Mary says hello to Charles.
Hello, Mary.
Here. Crystal's here again. Hey, Crystal.
Hey, Crystal.
Wow, blessings, you guys. Blessings to you too, Crystal. More greetings. Mary says, hey, Charles, do you have any idea how far back that New World Order goes? To the beginning.
Yeah, as far as they could conceive an idea to rid the world of us.
Yeah, yeah. They hate us because they ain't us.
Judy saying hi to Kayla.
Crystal waving, yep, yep. It's funny because on here, instead of it showing a little pink hand waving, it says the words hand pink waving. at Marquetta. More greetings.
I was just gonna say, someone sent us some funds or a donation just a little while ago. I didn't see who it was.
They asked us not to say.
Oh, okay,
So, but I thanked them.
okay.
Nathan
we do
says
appreciate that. I think we can get
we
the
sure
system
do.
up.
Howdy, brothers and sisters. Hey, Nathan, glad you're here.
Hey, Nathan. Good to hear from you.
Tracker C says, Mary, I believe in 1984, but I'm really not quite sure. Way older. Henry says, are you able to stand on your rights like the ones that are supposed to protect and serve? Clearly not. Judy says, hi, Nathan, more greetings. Linda says, Mary and Tracker, when those, oh, she was talking Tracker C. When those rich bankers got together and started the Federal Reserve 1913, I believe it really started way before then, evil to the core, but God is the most powerful in the universe. Yes, it's an ancient evil all the way back. Mary says she's much better. Good. So
Good,
hopefully
Mary.
we'll see you in the tracker meeting. In
Yeah,
the
and
morning,
don't forget,
Mary.
we have a tracker meeting and Patreon members.
That's
tracker
why some
meeting.
of them have checked out already. They're
Yeah.
like, I want to be there for the meeting.
Yeah, 9:30 a.m. Central Time Zone.
Darcy says Jerry has been on lots of adventures, absolutely, and still going on them. Let's see. Jim said good night and may the Lord Jesus be with you all. Thank you,
Oh,
Jim.
thank you,
We did say
Jim.
good night to him already.
And good
but
night. Oh, okay,
May
good.
the Lord be with you too.
Mhm.
Nathan says there's another Aztec god that is represented by a hummingbird. Codex. We have some stuff on Codex too. Nathan says Mexican coins also have the Aztec calendar on the edge.
Good.
Thank you, Nathan. Tracker C just reminding people to keep the chats down till the
Good.
end.
Thank you, Tracker C.
Yes. And he says, Nathan, it's great to have you here,
Yeah,
brother.
Yeah, sure is.
Judy
And
says,
you're
thank
welcome,
you.
Judy. We appreciate that.
Marquetta says, now that, wow, that's huge, big as a planet.
Yep.
Linda says, good night to everyone. Also early AM for me tomorrow. God bless us all in Jesus'
All
name.
right. And we'll see you at the tracker meeting.
Everyone's saying good night. Marquetta says, and Bigfoots are vicious, especially they want your soul. That's absolutely right.
Yep, sure do.
She says it's going back to the days of Noah. Yep, Genesis 6. Marquetta says,
It actually goes
CERN,
back before that because he said before
Right,
the days and
right.
after.
Or as in the days, and also after that. Marquetta says CERN opened the Pandora box, one of many, but absolutely. There's portals opening all over the place from the other side and from this side.
Yep.
Harper's here, says,
Harper!
my spirit has been hungry for this knowledge. I have seen some of this on dreams, but never understood it. Thank you so much for opening this door. Thank you, Harper.
You're welcome, and make sure you close that door when we're done.
Yeah, Harper says, I need all your books.
Mm.
We agree. Marquetta says, wow, a rake. It's eating everything. This is so, and then Judy says, this is so important. Tracker C checks out of the room because they have an early meeting.
Yep. Everybody's got early meetings tomorrow.
Marquetta agrees it sure is important.
He said, I'll be there though. Tracker C.
Judy's hoping her connection will be better tomorrow. We
We
do too.
We do too, Judy.
Harper says the beast of the field, absolutely correct.
Yep.
Marquetta says y'all are the first information I had it from. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marquetta.
She meant to say heard it from. Judy says for me too, Marquetta. Crystal says thank you, great information. Good night, Crystal.
Good night, Crystal. Hope to see you again.
Marquetta says this is a class for me, a great class. Good, Marquetta.
Thank
And
you,
also
Marquetta.
thank you for the way that you moderated over there on Bettina's team, or on her chat.
What's
Judy
JR say?
says, JR says, I'm absorbing and pondering. Thank you. Good to hear from you, JR.
And we would like to hear how the book is, JR, when you get a chance.
Judy says, for the first time, this has become much clearer to me. Good.
Thank you, Judy.
Jeremy says, thank you, Lead Horse and Lead Tracker E.
You're welcome, Jeremy.
We're pleased to be here. Judy says this is incredible information.
Thank you, Judy.
Harper says, same here, Judy. The truth will set you free. Yes,
Sure
God's
will.
people die for lack of
And
knowledge.
that's when we had that verse before.
Yep. Judy says, Harper, yes, absolutely. Scott says the DNA influence is obvious when you look at pictures of these abominations. They differ radically. Exactly.
Thank you, Scott.
Scott says Scott Carpenter put a video out shortly before he passed. They show a great variation, which you don't see in any other creature. That's
Mhm.
right. And Scott, I keep forgetting we need to make a video of all our photos too, since for the people that are only on YouTube and not on Facebook, we've shown a lot of the photos of the abominations that we have, but we haven't actually put it on YouTube. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Bernice came in the room. She
Hey,
says, hey,
Bernice.
fam.
Everybody say hi, Bernice.
Yep. She says, I'm so late. Had to put my daughter to sleep. She's been sick for 3 days.
Minerals, minerals, minerals.
We hope,
Plants.
yeah,
But we do hope for a
definitely.
quick healing.
I probably come up with another phrase than put my daughter to sleep, though. I'm saying,
Helps her to get to bed.
help her to go to sleep temporarily. Okay, Harper says, I don't think I can sleep now. Got to watch this again.
Oh, thank you, Harper. It is a lot of information.
Henry says, good night, all.
All right,
needs a
Henry.
good night's rest.
We'll see you at the tracker meet in the morning, Henry.
Harper says, I don't think I can sleep for a while. I need more info. Dolores says this is, hey, Dolores says
Hey, Dolores.
this is amazing information. I think that's the last, let me check on mine. Yep, that's the end.
Oh, okay. So we've been on here for about 3 hours. or
Yeah, we don't
something?
want to keep you guys.
Yeah, we don't want to keep
any
y'all too long.
longer.
But we're glad that we got to share this time with you and this information.
Like, share, subscribe. You guys know the routine.
Yeah.
And Bernice says, sorry, fam, I'm so tired. Worked 10 days straight. You get rest too. These things are recorded and come back and watch them
Yeah.
later.
And if y'all have a chance out there, make sure y'all got our back if people keep trying to say that there's no experts. Send them this way to the channel, send them a video, share this video with them, help them understand that there are people who have information that they don't have, and that we are sharing this information here. It's not like we're trying to hold it from just certain groups or certain people. They come here and watch.
We've been accused of that too.
And we've been accused of that, but you come to the channel, you can watch it. You can see it.
And back each other up when people are
Back
trying,
each other
they're
up.
trying to say that they're seeing myths and different things. Back them up too, so they have more courage to come out. Don't let them get bullied in these groups.
And take time to see. Take time to see. Don't just glance and say, oh, there's nothing. There is
Yeah.
something that somebody's showing you, somebody's posting, there's something there.
Yeah, Judy says she shared on her Facebook. Thank you,
Thank
Judy.
you, Judy.
I'll pray
Judy.
and so everyone can get a good night's rest.
Mm.
Thank you, Father, for letting us have the platform to get this information out. Thank you for giving us the revelations and the discernment to understand it all. Thank you for those that came here tonight. Thank you for those who battled for us behind the scenes. And just thank you. That's really, truly what we always have is thank you, because we know you've got us all. In Jesus' name, amen. Y'all have a good night.
And I think the next thing that we're going to go through on the journey to this information is the Fibonacci sequence. So if you don't know anything about the Fibonacci sequence, if you've never deciphered that, or if you haven't been with the channel for a while, we're going to go over and show you the symbols and what the Fibonacci sequence is and how to use it and how it's deciphered. I don't think anyone else can give you that information, so please come back. We're going to share that information about the Fibonacci sequence, the creation sequence.
Harper says, I told one could days ago and got blocked. Well, keep going.
Keep going, Harper.
Add away.
Thank you for that.
Y'all have a good evening.
Everyone
Good night,
have a
warriors.
good night, warriors. We'll be back. Trackers, 9:30 in the morning. We'll
Yep.
see you there.
Yep.
Patreon members, if you become a Patreon member, we will send you that link so that you have access to the private tracker team meetings every Tuesday and Friday at 9:30 a.m. Central Time Zone.
To those who sent us funds, thank you.
Thank you so
We'll
much.
get that StreamYard going
And we'll get this up and running.
so
Thank
we
you
can
so
show
much.
the photos and things.
And we do appreciate you so much. Now,
Oh,
now we
man,
can
do
get
we.
this. We can get this stream up again and get those photos up. But
Thank you.
and we're glad that all this information, those 300 and something videos of knowledge, is not going to just disappear now. We still got another chance to keep it here, but please go back and watch some of those videos. Get all the knowledge you can, download it if you can. It's not going to be here forever. We know that. We know this, but we want you to know it and share it with as many people as you can. Get everyone as educated as possible
Prepared.
and prepare for these days coming.
Yeah.
So
Harper says they don't care.
they don't care.
That's his spirit.
I don't care.
Good
All right.
night, y'all.
Good night, warriors.